Hey, greetings everyone. Yeah, we're back. We're doing the Loretism thing again. So yeah, I've got CDAT back. Y'all remember CDAT from last time, and from other times.
Hi.
Yeah, and from other times he's been on the stream, I'd hope. Yeah, because last time we did the tanks of the Imperial Guard. I had hoped to get the tanks of the Space Marines in last time. The problem was I completely underestimated how long it would take through to get all the battle tanks of the Imperial Guard, because holy fuck, there's a lot of them. You know? In all their janky glory, as we observed. So this is basically, I'm gonna turn it. I always have my stream music too loud. So yeah, this time we're continuing the same you say if I'm 33. Hello, welcome to the chat. Right, so we're going through the same topic, tanks of the Imperium, but this time we're doing
initiating attack protocol 23.
Oh, hey Ash.
Ashe has provided 4 reinforcements.
Hey Ash, how you doing? I hope the rest of your stream went well. But yeah, this time we're continuing the same discussion, tanks, but this time we're doing Space Marines and the Sisters of Battle. And, CDAT is my expert on tanks, who we are, who is providing, the informed opinion versus my, oh, this looks cool thing. and to clarify, stream went well. That's good to hear. Yeah, to clarify, this isn't us hating on the lore. We both love Warhammer, but we're looking at it from like the perspective of, okay, could this actually work? If you catch our drift. But all right, see that. I'm going to bring up the first image, and then I'm going to now connect this on Discord, and if all works right, you should be able to.
Okay, it popped up right away.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Discord stream is open if you want to connect to that.
Oh, okay, let me do that.
Yeah. All right, let me know when you're looking at it.
All right. There we go. See, Discord's being difficult, but what else is new?
It's Discord. Of course it's being difficult. Hey, hey, Salt. Yeah, we're about to nerd out on tanks.
Okay, so good first choice. This is absolutely, as the Brits would say, a bog standard armored personnel carrier or battle taxi.
Yeah. This is for the context. This is the Rhino. This is the work. This is the. To clarify, we're gonna go transport / IFVs, then tanks, then heavy tanks. And there should be at least one super heavy thrown in there. But yeah, this is the ubiquitous troop transport vehicle of the Space Marines. Every company has like a bunch of these. It's very simple, big armored, get Marines from point A to point B. It's got a storm bolter, pintle mount, and you can hook like one shot hunter killer missile, which is like a fire and forget homing missile on it for a burst of anti-tank, but that's really it.
Yeah. Like I said, this is ripped directly from real world. This is an M113, M114.
Yeah.
The name of the British versions escape me, but again, the regular battle taxi, even down to the location of the cupola turret with the bolter, the whole 9 yards is, and again, there's absolutely nothing wrong. Even the way the armor on this one's set up makes sense. Now, I'm not sure how they work on the track because they can't really fold the side armor away, but that's just that's really overly nitpicky. Looks like there might be hinges there, but I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, like they might be able to open it up. Well, the things I immediately noticed, first of all, is that the pintle mount is on an internally controlled turret.
Which is actually quite brilliant and not the worst idea that they should have implemented back in the days of the real vehicles.
Yeah.
Often you had to pop your head out to fire it, and it's like, well, That's brilliant. I think I'll stick my head out while they're shooting it.
Yeah, I've seen that on more modern tanks. An external pintle mount turret that you can control from inside the tank.
Oh yeah, the Crows system on the M1 series is a good example of that, and it took a lot of injuries for the government to finally figure out that the tank commander sticking his head out to fire the 50 is not a good idea.
Yeah.
In the whole list of good bad ideas, that's a shit one right there.
Yeah, you brought up this is a copy of a real world tank, or like a slight design variations, but basically the hull of a real world tank. Fun fact: the Games Workshop headquarters in Nottingham has one of the tanks this is based on that's been greebled up to look like a Rhino.
I could believe it.
Yeah, like parked out front.
There's probably hundreds, just like there is in the U.S. They can go find hundreds. I mean, variants of both the British and the U.S. 113 series are still in operation.
Yeah,
not so much with the first tier government, so to speak, but the holy crap. Yeah, you go to other countries in the world, and it's an all-purpose vehicle. And even the U.S., we turned it into an artillery spotting unit. We turned it into a Vulcan 20 millimeter carrier. We turned it into a mortar track. We turned it into an anti-air, a tow vehicle. Before the Bradley really got fully deployed, we basically stuck a tow launcher on this thing and called it an ITV, an improved tow vehicle.
Yeah, you know what?
So they're everywhere.
I mean, you bring that up. So, but on that note, the first thing we're gonna move on to then is from the Rhino, because the Rhino is pretty basic. There's not really a lot to discuss. I'd say there's really not a lot to discuss about the Rhino. It's just it is what it is. It does it well and is a decent design. But
exactly.
Yeah, but the next one we're doing is the Razorback, which is
Okay, yeah, there you go. Now, again, they took. I'm going to assume that's some sort of brush or wire cutter on the front, maybe even some kind of plow system, like a mine plow or something like that.
I want to say, in terms of rules, that back when you could buy like upgrades for your vehicles, that was considered a dozer blade. Like it fell into it fell into the all-encompassing rule of dozer blade.
Okay, yeah, which is going to be used either for constructing fighting positions, uprooting mines. In fact, again, I think in one of the Gaunt's Ghost books, they talk about the vehicles, tanks with dozer blades pushing mines off of the road.
Yep.
So you're going to do something very similar. And I mean, you got soon twin heavy lasers.
Twin link blast cannon, yes. It can also fit. There's variants that can fit. Let's see. It can be varied up to have a heavy bolter. The twin linked heavy bolters. They can have. I've seen twin link twin link assault cannons. I've seen this one really weird one that had a multi-melta and a plasma cannon side by side. There's a bunch of different variations on the turret, basically. But
now, is this meant to haul troops as well, or just be a support vehicle?
It's support fire, but it can also carry 5 Space Marines.
Well, that's going to be a really big vehicle to have all of that crammed into that chassis. So this thing's going to be, I mean, not massive for 40K, but if you were to deploy this real world, people would be like, well, you can see that shit coming a mile away.
Yeah. The thing to keep in mind with a lot of the vehicles, if you've ever seen them on tabletop versus the, compared to say the Marine models, is that the scale of the vehicles to the troops is off deliberately. In order, because a lot of these vehicles are smaller in relation to the 28 millimeter heroic scale figures, for the sake of being able to even fit them on the table.
Well, I was going to say you got to kind of like a lot of mech models, for example, something like BattleTech.
Yeah,
they've got to kind of keep some sense of reality, so to speak, going. So
especially because the especially because say in BattleTech, every model has to fit in BattleTech on the in that hexagon.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. For the
Is it hexagon?
um,
But you know what I mean.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
I had to think about it.
Yeah, Salt, exactly. You got to abstract it a bit for the sake of gameplay. It's like all the people's like, well, a bolter on tabletop isn't that strong. It's like, I mean, yeah, because you don't want Space Marines costing like 200 points and being able to kill fucking everything with bolters. BattleTech is too complicated for me. Yeah, Demactus, I feel that. That's why I actually, if I play it on Mega Mech, just because it does all the computations for me.
I was going to say, have they radically changed? Because it used to be kind of a very straightforward game. Apparently, they, like so many other things, they stupidly overcomplicated things. But
Yep. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, I've told you the story before about playing it literally with one set of rules in the desert. So, none of us are rocket scientists, that's for sure.
Well, I can tell you this much. Like, for example, the old battle space rules, for the spaceships, they took that, which was all in one rule book, and split it between 3 different rule books now.
On figures.
Because,
so that they could cut, so you had to spend more.
Yeah, because LOL Catalyst, I guess.
Yeah, FASA was more concerned about playing the game than maybe that's why they're not in business anymore.
Right. But let's see, what else we got? Yeah, that's the Razorback. That's basically the little IFV version of the Rhino. Now here's one. This one I have only ever seen this picture of it. I've never seen an actual model of it. This is called the Rhino Advancer. The Advancer pattern. Basically what it is a purely open topped Rhino, so you can stuff more troops in.
Yeah, and again, that is the epitome of the proverbial battle taxi.
Yeah,
its entire job is to cover the troops long enough to get them where they're going, and then get the hell out of the way.
Yeah,
they're not meant to hang around and give supporting fire or anything like that. So it's that's actually, again, going back to the 114s and the early British APCs. That was the entire idea. If you see pictures from Vietnam, you'll see 113s with the hatches popped open and 4 or 5 guys, especially in the old armored cav units, hanging out in the back with like 2 or 3 50 caliber turrets, or not turrets, but basically pintle mounted 50s.
Yeah, they'll like get to cover the tank if it comes under fire.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that's pretty on target. Even down to, I love the lights, like Space Marines need headlights.
It's kind of funny that, just off the bat, we're falling into this dichotomy where the Space Marine vehicles kind of they make design sense where the Imperial Guard vehicles really didn't.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to give the Imperial Guard that little bit of edge they need, because they are competing against demigod level things on the battlefield, and it's just Guardsman Bob and his flashlight. Yeah,
Joe Guardsman and his lasgun versus fighting like all the horrors of the universe. They got the Space Marines. They get the good. They're the toy soldiers, so they get the good tanks. Also, hey, EA.
One of my truly favorite memes in 40K is the Guardsman standing there glaring at the Space Marine and says, "It doesn't matter that I shot it 5 times, you shot it once. It's my kill."
Right?
It's like, okay, dude, calm down.
Yeah, that's that Rhino variant, the Advancer. This one is I want to say this was a limited time model, but this is the Rhino Primaris. All right, so
that's called How Much Shit Can You Grab? That's almost like a command and control vehicle.
That's exactly what it is. This is the Rhino that that company command would ride in.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You've got radar units, you've got lots of antennas. Of course, you've got your little sensor system. I assume that's the little chapel-looking thing with the skulls on it.
Yep.
You've got communication dishes.
You've got the
Yeah, that's a radio. That's a radio with tracks.
Yeah, that's like for beaming signals from the tank up to orbit, because remember, Space Marines are drop troops. They
Right.
And their base is their base is orbiting the planet, so that's what that would be for, or broadcasting signals across the battlefield with the smaller dish. You've got the I don't know if you noticed, you got the little servo skull wired into the big communications rig to like.
You can basically just scream at shit.
Yeah. And I actually like the design of the twin-linked pintle-mounted plasma gun.
Because fuck you and everything around you.
Yeah, because this is a fancy officer vehicle, so its pintle mount has to be fancy.
And there's an American vehicle called the M577, and at best it only has a 50 cal. So in that area, it's kind of substandard. But again, it's literally packed full of radios, nose to tail.
Yeah.
And now they probably don't do it anymore, but you could literally link 3 of them together, back them up towards each other, put up some canvas, almost like a tent, and control an entire battalion from 3 of these things, and control a battalion across a wide-ranging battlefield. Now, of course, it also has all of the command team clustered into a vehicle with beer can aluminum armor. So, problem.
Yeah,
but,
if it gets so much as sneezed on by another armored vehicle, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you've got several tanks and Bradleys that would have to guard that thing. But,
yeah.
From a command and control point of view, there's not much it can't do or talk to.
Yeah,
so.
I can imagine this thing being flanked by, like, say, right, like you'll see. We're gonna go over the Predator tank.
You'd have to have heavy armor support on this thing, because it would get blown to hell quick as soon as the enemy saw all those antennas. One of the things we trained back in the old, yes, I actually go back to the Cold War. Yes, I'm ancient. Is to count the number of antennas on the enemy vehicles and shoot the one. The first shot was whichever vehicle had the most antennas, because, well, Russians couldn't really I'm not sure the proper communication term, but couldn't hook up multiple radios to one antenna.
Yeah.
So every radio. So if you saw 3 or 4 antennas, well, you got a battalion commander.
Yeah.
Zap him and they lose all control.
Yeah, literally put a missile in that guy. That's the smart one.
Yeah. Then the rest of them are going, what?
Yeah, because now they're not getting comms because Captain Ivan Ivanovich is now a stain inside his burning tank hull.
Right. So that thing is literally, even Chaos is like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because I mean, you've read plenty of 40K novels now. Look, Chaos, they may be heretics, but they're not stupid either.
Well, I love one of them, and I don't remember which one, but it was literally, well, what's Chaos going to do? Okay, here's the thing: we don't know, because they don't know what they're going to do. It's like, it's the American military.
Yeah, I was saying it's literally American battle tactics. If we don't know what we're doing, then the enemy doesn't know what we're doing.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. So that's the Rhino Primaris, and now here's the this is the Damocles Command Rhino. This is
okay.
This is basically a more mass-produced version of the Rhino Primaris.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, other than that horrible chapter they have painted on the top there.
I mean, those unironic heretics.
Yeah, exactly. The closet heretics.
Yeah, it was just lazy ass dad who was just taking a nap for 10,000 years.
Sorry, all the Dark Angels fans were triggering out there, but you deserve it.
Jackie, if you're watching, I'm not sorry.
Oh, I didn't. I never realized Jackie was a Dark Angel.
Yeah, she likes. She likes Dark Angels.
Okay, I absolutely want to trigger you then, Jackie. Deal with it.
Yeah. Those clusters of 3 tubes on either side of the top hatch and the storm bolter. Yeah, those are smoke launchers.
Yeah, they probably launched something like a red or white phosphorus. which absolutely is not meant to be fired on troops. No, you're not supposed to fire the smoke grenades on troops, and quit talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically lay down a smoke bank and back up because you're about to get smoked yourself. But you're right. They absolutely said, okay, we went over the top with the guards, so let's keep it a little bit sensible for a while for the Space Marines.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to remember actually who got their vehicles first. That's actually like in terms like when they started making them. Because, I mean, the thing to remember at 40K, as a game, it was designed to be a squad-level skirmish game.
Right.
In, like, the Rogue Trader days, and then when it caught on to be more popular, they wanted to make it a war game, more like Warhammer Fantasy, which it was conceived as an expansion pack to, like a sci-fi expansion pack. So, in, like, 2nd edition, I want to say is when they started making... No, there were some vehicles in first. I want to say I think the original Land Raider model came out in first. We'll get to Land Raiders in a minute. I can't really, but I think they actually made the Space Marine vehicles first. And then Imperial Guard got their vehicles, like, I want to say around 2nd.
You have tuned in to 40K Nerd Spaz. Thank you.
That's just every day for me. But
That's true.
But yeah, okay. Now, moving on. Now for our first Primaris vehicle. All people still upset about Primaris Marines, contain your tisms.
I was just gonna say everybody, but I thought everybody loved the Primaris.
Yeah, this is the Space Marine Impulsor.
What? Okay, I get it floats. What is? It's like they're trying to make two vehicles to make a vehicle.
Okay.
That crap hanging off the back is a little weird. Okay.
So first of all, let's go over what it does. This is a sort of a stealth reconnaissance transport. It's its main thing is is to deliver Phobos armored Space Marines into battle behind the line.
Okay.
It's open topped. It's like a sort of a pickup truck kind of design in the back.
Great.
And then they just hop off and go when it stops.
All right, today we're going to be delivering the West Virginia Battalion. y'all get in the back of the truck, all right?
Hey, Cletus, take your squad and defend the Burger Hive.
What do you mean the Waffle House is closed? Let's get out of here.
It's just Tyranids. Why they closing the Waffle House?
And for those who I live in Florida and I am of West Virginia stock, so I can make these jokes.
But yeah, it's got first thing you probably notice, the sort of wonky looking side sponson. That's a Stormbolter on the side.
Okay, Salt has hit upon it. It is literally a Space Marine technical.
Yeah, I just saw that, Salt. I was gonna say because it's got like a heavy gun on the back, and it's it's like kind of like a pickup truck design. Does that make it a Space Marine Toyota technical?
Yes, literally, this is Space Marine Taliban.
Oh my god. But yeah, okay, yeah. Like I was saying, you'll notice on the side of the tank, for starters, that is a Stormbolter pintle mount. That is designed to, like, that swings out to shoot to the sides.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's like I want to say it's not like, it's a little over between both Stormbolters, a little over 180 degrees. Like they can aim back a little bit.
Okay, so you got a little bit of deflection to the rear, because, yeah, like I said, that thing on that extra pieces on the back just seems. Like I said, those are
okay. Okay, all that shit on the back. That is the air intake for a jet engine that pushes it forward.
So it's like a jet engine powered stealth vehicle. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well,
we're being quiet, brother.
I mean, look. Like I said, like I said, my chapter's idea of stealth is to run in screaming the hymnals of the Emperor as we cut them to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then and then there's the parent chapter who wear bright yellow. So
I was gonna say the Tism chapter.
Yeah. They other notes on weaponry. The pintle mount is called a Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. It's a Space Marine Modus.
Yeah, and that does my old tanker heart happy to see that my weapon is still, as a tank commander, my weapon is still out there, probably burning up a lot of lubricant.
38,000 years from now, we're still using even the Space Marine. I want to point this out: the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber as a concept, that is a new thing. That first showed up on the Primaris vehicles.
Call was like, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit, but guess what I found from M2? This thing's great. You gotta love it.
He was looking at all the Modeuses on the fucking Imperial Guard tanks. Is like, my Space Marine homies are missing out on the best heavy machine gun ever made.
Yeah, and I'll fight anybody over that. That thing is.
Some people got kind of mad because it didn't have a Stormbolter on it, but look, I'm such a fanboy of anything made by John Moses Browning that I am totally okay with a Modus on Space Marine vehicles.
Yeah, and I've operated an M85, which is another type of 50 cal, and you cannot improve on the perfection. Yeah.
EA brings up a good point. Stealth, with regards to stealth on a jet turbine pushed hover tank, is if there's no witnesses, there's nobody to witness.
That is true, and having been in situations like, yes, they can't report on you if they can't. The enemy cannot call on the radio if they no longer have a head.
Yeah, the enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. But yeah, because this vehicle released with the Phobos armored Primaris Marines. And like the whole dichotomy with Phobos is that with the Phobos Marines, that where you got your standard Marines, like standard Primaris Marines who are more like the regular plain Jane Space Marines, and then you have guys like say the Blade Guard or the Stern Guard who are more like ornate, more ornate and gussied up looking. The Phobos Marines have a whole like tactical thing going on. You've probably seen that playing Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're the ones in the looks like almost stripped down armor.
Yeah,
the boots actually look like boots instead of big fat peg leg and all the other stuff.
Yeah. It was sort of like a they're more like tactical Marines because they do like they're doing SEAL Team 6 stuff instead of running around and like in the open going like brother all the time. They
just whisper it, brother.
But yeah, no, they got like. They use bolt carbines instead of regular bolters. They're the ones that use like the last fusel and the bolt sniper rifle.
Okay.
Yeah, they're generally built around being stealthy, and this is like their transport. Like it's even in the rules for 40K still that only this is the only transport that can still only transport Primaris.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's meant for the Phobos guys.
And yeah, Atom Fire, that is true. I mean, our tanks were. It wasn't we were necessarily quieter. We didn't sound like anything else that made any sense. So one of the things early on was they didn't know we were coming because they were listening for chug 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 chug, which is what their tanks sounded like.
Yeah.
Instead, they hear this god awful howling noise, and if you don't know what I mean, go just Google on YouTube. Just search M1 startup, and tell me that is not one of the creepier, cool noises you've ever heard in your life.
Also, the turret on the back. We're falling a little bit into Imperial Guard territory because the back turret doesn't have actual like clearance of the pintle mount. If you're trying to hit something in front of the tank, but the back turret can be either that's a twin linked. I want to say that's a twin linked Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. It's also got either a small missile launcher that can switch, has barrels for frag and crack grenades, so anti-personnel and anti-vehicle.
You said crack.
Oh no, not grenades, missiles. Frag and crack missiles, and then it can also equip a shield generator.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the third option is you forego the turret, and instead you get deflector shields for the tank.
Okay, I'm kind of down with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives the tank an invulnerable save. So yeah, so that's what that does. That's the impulsor, and now we're moving on to proper battle tanks. So the Dr. Disrespect. I'm sorry, the Predator.
Oh, so we're gonna take the same hull and just slap some extra shit on it.
Yeah, it's because you were mentioning that earlier, how they would take that one tank and just like slap shit on it to fulfill different roles. That's kind of what the Space Marines did with the Rhino hull for a very long time.
Yeah, so okay, we got a heavy gun on there. It's like an autocannon.
This is the Predator Destructor. This is the autocannon turret version.
So it looks like a missile launcher. All right, so basically we've got a tow and a 105 or 120 millimeter gun, which I'm down with that. I am totally. I wish we could have had missile launchers or like a 20 mic or something, or like a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. Up on our turret. I'll take more guns, sure.
And we're back to having sponson mounted guns, but in it's something the Space Marine tanks do that the Imperial Guard ones don't, that I actually really like, is that the sponson mounted guns are in a very clearly external turret array.
Right. You got a little standoff room. I don't know if that's big enough for a Space Marine, but you might be able to stick like a little servitor brain in there or something to run it.
I want to say, the crew consists of driver, turret gunner, and two gunners for the side sponsons.
Okay.
So it's like a 4-man tank. But Space Marines, being like crazy as they are, can do the jobs of multiple people. So like, say the commander can be the commander and the turret gunner, and
right. Usually from an override or something like that.
And it's like this is a rapid fire auto loading gun. It functions more like a Bushmaster.
Wow. Okay. Sign me up. I want one.
Yeah. A what do you call it? Like the autocannons aren't like, this is like way more like I said, in terms of function, it's less like a
105 or 120 in a main battle tank.
Yeah, it's smaller than that, but it is bigger than your standard autocannon, obviously. And yeah, it does, like, in terms of like rate of fire, it is more like a higher caliber Bushmaster. You're like do, rather than one shot reload, one shot reload like that.
That would have spoiled me. I'd have had way too much fun with that. So.
Yeah. That's the Hunter Killer missile on top. That's it's less like a tow. It's more like a fire and forget javelin. Honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that by the look of it, it's more of a javelin, just the way they have it angled. So
yeah. The side sponsons can also be las cannons, alternatively. So you can kit those out for anti-infantry with the heavy bolters, or anti-vehicle with the las cannons. I would say though they're definitely more vulnerable in design, but the turret design is a little more practical for aiming and operation, but I also think it looks more vulnerable.
Yeah. I mean you've got some really, really nasty shot traps in there. You've got some weird angles to get. That cupola is just begging to get shot off.
Yeah.
on top of the turret. So same with the missile launcher.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing with. I was looking over all the Horus Heresy era vehicles, and I was like, "Oh my god, we're not going to be able to fit that into an episode." That would
Episode 3, Horus Heresy.
Yeah. Tanks of the Horus Heresy would have to be like in episode 3 or something. But I was looking over them all, and it's kind of a funny thing because the Predator as a tank was basically functioned closer to a. These were light tanks during the Horus Heresy.
I can believe it though, because I mean the armor thickness doesn't really scream out heavy. So this is like, I mean, I hate to make the good, but this is definitely like a light tank, like World War II style, like light tank. It's meant to get in there fast, lay down suppressive fire, and hope like hell you can get out of there before you get shot.
Which is fitting for the Space Marines, considering they're rapid assault infantry.
Yeah, you don't need some big waddling behemoth.
Yeah,
to come rolling in.
Yeah, like for example, I'll mention it. I'll mention it here because we're on the topic. In the Heresy era, the main battle tank of the Space Marines was called the Sikaran, and it was a bigger, heavier looking vehicle than this. It also had a bunch of variants with different weapons and stuff. The Rhino was kind of like a backup vehicle, like a light a light tank to sort of operate on the flanks.
Right. Like could scout, could operate on flanks, could hold perimeters, set up the proverbial, could be like a tripwire vehicle.
Yeah, Adam Fire brings up something. Yeah, that's something I actually forgot about because you were talking about armor. Back when 40K still had armor facings for vehicles, the Rhino was like 11 armor on the front and sides and 10 on the back. The I want to say the Rhino or the Predator is 13 on the front. Is like I want to say it's like 12 on the front, 11 on the sides, 10 on the back.
Okay, so
yeah, so it's obviously up armored.
Yeah, they've got some more plating on there. They got a little more plating because, well, the last thing you need is a penetration and an ammo explosion.
Yeah.
Even Space Marines probably can't tolerate that.
Yeah, because knowing Space Marines, they probably just be like, "Oh God, that's inconvenient," as the inside of the tank is burning with them inside. Before they kick the door out and go kill the guys who shot them. Yeah, that's the Predator Destructor. Now this is the Predator Annihilator. This is the lasgun version, like the last.
So, brother, I heard you like lasguns, so we're gonna put lasguns on your lasgun.
This is the las cannon version. This is by far closer to a main battle tank for the Space Marines than the Destructor, because those are two very powerful anti-tank weapons.
Yeah, you're gonna get a nice punch effect from that dual cannon.
Yeah, and this one shows off the las cannon sponsons. Rather than
what's on is that like a weapon on top, just the way they have it turned, or they have it like face on, because it looks really straight. Couldn't figure out if it was a spotlight or some kind of weapon.
That thing on the very top of the turret, that is some kind of radar dish.
Okay. I wasn't 100% certain.
Yeah, I don't know what purpose it would serve other than communications or maybe even spotting. I know you can fit the standard the Hunter Killer missile on this one, as well as the as well as the what's it called, the Stormbolter pintle mount. It's just not on these. It's just not on the screen caps for this one. I've actually seen a lot of people put the Hunter Killer missile on the, that little back slope on the back of the tank, like on there.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, because then it's it's like out of the way of the turret and anything that might go on top of it and pointing up, so they can just thump and send it out.
Well, that would make sense though. Yeah.
And this one's similar to the previous one, driver gunner, two sponson gunners. Yeah, this is the closest the Space Marines had to what you could call a main battle tank, because it's like, because it has the more it's an energy weapon, but it is more the equivalent of, say, an Abrams main gun.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the dumb non 40k nerd, super nerd question. I mean, how do they operate the weapons? Do they manually do it, or I could almost picture them like taking a cable and attaching it to their armor?
Yeah,
which would make a lot more sense.
A lot of it is done by connecting the weapon to their power armor, which then feeds into the Black Carapace. It allows and they can get all the data and all the ability to control it, like with mental impulse rather than like a fucking control stick or something.
Yeah, you're literally controlling at the speed of thought.
Yeah, so. Which is also why one of the things that when we're not factoring in tabletop rules makes Space Marine tanks so deadly is just vastly increased reaction time from the crew.
Oh, yeah, if all you got to do is look and think to fire, you have to wait for your muscles to catch up or your, anything like that. You don't have to worry about fire commands. Literally, as you're doing it, the vehicle's going, hey, he's shooting, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like, I'd say the Space Marine vehicles way more than the Guard vehicles, because the Guard vehicles have those like sci-fi weapons on them, of course, laser guns, plasma guns, all that stuff. But the Space Marine vehicles are where you really start falling into a lot of the crazier technology available in the Imperium, like because they're operating all this stuff because they're literally they've got their nervous systems plugged into the tank.
Yeah, so normally I would say, yeah, that would be cool, but I don't really think I want the U.S. government doing that because there's no way that's going wrong.
You will not be accepting the government issue
no
brain microchip.
No.
Yeah, that is the standard Predator. So here's a special variant. This is the ball pattern Predator used by the Blood Angels. And the difference with this one, I think I have another picture. I have another picture of the other turret weapon, but the general idea is this one can have either a turret-mounted heavy flamer or a twin-linked assault cannon.
Okay, I like they've got a Space Marine in the hatch. Now we have a sense of scale.
Yeah,
we have a little bit of sense of scale on it now.
Yeah. Do keep in mind though, the Space Marine popping out the hatch is still not entirely to scale because he wouldn't be able to fit through the hatch.
I was gonna say what it is actually. He's naked from the waist down.
The commanders, listen. The God Emperor doesn't want you to know this, but the Space Marines and the tanks aren't wearing pants.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things we did in the desert is we would literally just take a t-shirt and cut it off about mid-length, and that's all we had under our flame-proof suits because we wore flame-resistant or flame-proof, almost like flying suits, like a little thinner material.
Yeah, because I mean, especially because if you pop a. If like the ammo, if you get ammo ragged, it gives you a second to and there's a fire in the tank, it gives you a second to get out without the fire affecting you.
Right, and so we're wearing Nomex hoods, Nomex gloves, and a Nomex suit in the desert, and so we would just cut a t-shirt off, and as everybody said, if suddenly they had to cut us out of our gear, we're all going to suddenly have no secrets. So, brother Bloodborne up there is pretty much, he could be, free donging his way from the waist down.
Yeah, brother Bloodguinius of the Blood Angels. I can't think of a Blood Angel name off the top of my head.
I couldn't either. So he's basically, free donging it down in the turret.
Yeah. And
the commander or the guy sitting next to him is go, could you just not, please?
It's also worth pointing out for talking safety and stuff. If you look at the back of the turret, you can also see where the fuel tanks are.
Yeah.
For the heavy flamer.
Well, okay, so the vehicle that we were talking earlier, this design on the M113, there were three main variants. The A1, A2 literally put the fuel inside of the hull in a rubber bag that was separated from the crew by a fiberglass wall. That's it. If a bullet came through and set the fuel on fire, it would keep going, set it on fire, and flaming fuel would pour through the fiberglass into the crew compartment, incinerating the infantry inside. Not a good idea.
Yeah, that was like those World War II, Vietnam, Korea era tanks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So then on the M113A3, which again was still in service 5-6 years into my career, in the mid 90s, they said, "Oh, we'll just put it on 2 pods outside of the rear door." So as you're exiting, you're getting sprayed with burning fuel.
Yeah.
There's no wind here. There's literally no wind.
I will say it is a slightly better idea to have them in, because they've got them on I mean, okay, it's on the one hand, they're pods on the back of the turret, so if they get popped, it's just going to spill over the side of the tank.
Yeah, or maybe you could even eject them. You might be able to just hit a switch and throw them off the back and maybe land them on some cultist's head.
Yeah, hit the oh shit button and eject the tanks if they're pierced and burning, I imagine this, because you remember the Malcador and Furnace from last time, right? That was the giant fuck off flamethrower being towing this huge can of gas on his backside. Yeah, this seems a little safer than that, just because the Rhino's got better tech in it than the Malcador. But all the same, it's a flamethrower. The tank is a giant weak spot no matter what.
That previous one, the Malcador, literally you got a gunner and an assistant gunner, and the gunner's like, "What do I aim for?" And the other guy's like, "Are you kidding?"
Right?
You see the fuel tank hanging on the back.
Because I can't imagine it. I can't imagine any of these fuel tanks. Well, I mean, okay, in defense of the Bald Predator, that's some actual decent plating for what it's supposed to be, covering it there on the sides. You see that?
You're right, yeah. So you've got some plating at least.
Yeah, they're thinking a little bit that yeah, those tanks are going to be a big obvious target. Let's get some armor on those things. Like,
oh man,
obviously not like say equivalent to say the front, the I'd say probably not even equivalent to the rear armor, let alone the side and front, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything's better than nothing. That's why early in Iraq and Afghanistan, the guys were welding scrap metal on the Humvees, or if you've seen over in the Ukraine, the cope cages they call them.
Yeah. I've seen I've seen those.
Whatever. Something's better than nothing.
The Russian tanks love those cope cages. I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know how effective they are, but I guess if they make you feel better.
Listen. Putting a barbed wire fence around the sides of your tank is really going to help with a top attack missile.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's the and because that's the flamethrower version. Now, for the sake of showing it off, zoom in a little bit. This is the twin assault cannon version.
I was gonna say that's the great fuck off cannon version.
Yeah, double assault cannons. In case you hadn't noticed, the side sponsons on this can be, I want to say, heavy bolters or heavy flamers.
So now that's that M163 we talked about last time, where they put the 20mm Vulcan, that's quote unquote air defense.
It's air defense until you aim it down at some poor unsuspecting schmuck and be like, "Hi there," and pull the fire button.
Yeah, I mean, you can open light tanks or personnel carriers, BMPs or something like that. In real world, you could open them like a beer can.
Yeah, it's like I know people think big tank, big gun, but seriously, there is the there is the virtue of, as some call it, a whole lot of diddly.
Oh yeah. If you throw enough bullets, they'll literally it's like I punched a hole, and then I punched a hole in the hole, and then the next one went right through.
Yeah, especially the smaller vehicles with thinner armor or hitting vulnerable parts. We brought it up last time, but the guy in Ukraine who took out a tank with a Bradley did that. He was shooting the turret ring, which is really thin.
Yeah, he got real dumb luck too.
Yeah.
I would not bank my life and career on always hitting that spot. So,
But yeah, you can also see on the turret on this, on the back of the turret, those are the ammo boxes for the autocannons, because those things just chew through ammo.
oh yeah, what a weird ammo feed system though.
Yeah, because you'd think they'd put it like some, because
I mean, they could route it around the outside of the turret, like have it curved along the wall, and then feed into the sides of the guns from both sides.
Well, I mean,
So-
the other answer, of course, would be just to have it be part of the turret, the magazine. It'd be internal underneath the guns as part of the turret mechanism. Because, I mean, you don't need that much clearance for a Gatling cannon.
No, that's true. And once again, we have Brother Bear Cheeks up there in the hatch.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go to town. So
Yeah, and you can see like the they've got the different placement for the smoke launchers and the on this one, and this one's got the Stormbolter pintle mount.
now, what is above? It looks like I can see the exhaust pipes. You can see like the lights behind that is the exhaust stack, which is kind of interesting. But and you look at where I'm assuming those are heavy flamers.
Those
on
are
the side sponson. On the side sponson.
Yeah.
What is above it? It looks like some kind of laser light or something.
That's the sponson mount's targeting sensor.
Okay, all right. So it only goes straight forward, but the guns can turn to the side. Or can it rotate?
The sponson mounts on Predators are capable of 180 degree coverage.
Okay, so that must mean the sight sensor can do the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the entire side, front to back of the tank is covered by those sponsons.
Okay, cool. All right, because I saw that earlier and I'm like, wait a minute, because and be careful you don't shoot the exhaust stack off, or you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. So that's the ball Predator. Now we're moving on to the Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
Yeah, this is the.
And of course, it's your boys.
I didn't plan that, but yeah,
the great fuck off missile launcher. And of course, it's like,
hey, look, even for us Black Templars who love our melee, sometimes you just gotta send somebody a fuck off notice from like 30 miles away. Okay.
All right, who's got the giant missile launcher? The space racists. Shit.
Hey, look, hey, look, we are not racist. And we're not xenophobic either.
You hate everybody.
No, look, xenophobia implies an irrational fear. Have you seen a Tyranid?
That's true.
That's not irrational.
Literally on the job site today, there was a wasp nest in the work area, and one of the guys had to go over to a hardware store and get some wasp spray. And he's spraying it, and all I can picture is, have we tried that in 40K? Just get big cans of wasp spray and start hitting the Tyranids.
I mean, the Inquisition.
I start laughing, and he's looking at me like, "What the hell are you laughing at?"
I mean,
nothing.
I mean, they have tried that. They've tried like various toxins, both chemical and biological weapons on the Tyranids. The Tyranids, it will affect them for a little bit, and then the hive mind will just adapt to it. So yeah, haven't they just tried a can of Raid thing?
I just pictured a giant can of Space Marines out there with a 40-foot tall can of Raid.
Yeah, it's like they've tried that, but it doesn't stick. Basically, it's like because imagine the wasps, like you poison the wasps, and then the same they just start spawning more, like giving birth to more wasps, and they're now immune to Raid. Like that's basically
these were
what
kind of
happens.
laughing it off because these were Florida wasps, which are mutants anyway.
Yeah, right. I pray you guys never get murder hornets. They'd love it down there.
Oh, I think the other wildlife would eat it. they would have to fight against everything else.
But right. So yeah, the Whirlwind. It's basically it's an MLRS system.
Yeah.
It's it's like this is like. I want to say the missiles it fires can be either just standard, standard high explosive, or standard high explosive, incendiary, or they can deploy mines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, Because I mean, look, this is 40K. No one gives a shit about war crimes. Everyone's.
I'm going to assume this thing has to be loaded from the outside.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is a backline artillery vehicle, so this would not be up front with the main fighting. This would be in the back, functioning very much like the what do they call them? ATACMS, ATCAMS.
Oh yeah.
Or the MLRS systems that you're familiar with and you fought alongside in the Gulf War.
Back in the Stone Ages.
Yeah. Because I remember that was like the big conflict that put those in the news, the American MLRS system.
Yeah, they didn't know what to think of that. That messed people's heads up so bad and was like, hey, do you mind if we just like throw telephone pole missiles at you for a while?
Right.
You're cool with that, right?
Yeah. Listen. I was just a youngin' when that shit went on. I know you were in the shit, but I remember at the time, but I remember watching that on the news. I was like, oh, that is so goddamn cool.
It was. We got to try out so many cool toys. And watching it, you're like, because you're just sitting there and you're going, and you're listening, you're thinking of regular artillery, which kind of sounds like, train cars headed overhead.
Yeah.
And we're hearing this god-awful whistling, ripping noise, and just shit would disappear. And of course, most of us are 19, 20, 20. We're cheering. Yeah! It's a baseball game.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, these are also dudes who are trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're just looking at the whole thing like it's a big old game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's kind of funny in that regard because, like from my perspective as, the young civilian watching this unfold on the news and you being the soldier in the shit, but it's like war is horrible, war is destructive. It's also really kind of fucking cool, which is it's a kind of an unfortunate thing, but
you've stumbled onto the great dichotomy.
Exactly.
As it is, you look at it, you still look. It's literally that scene in Fury. Best job I ever had.
Yeah,
it was the best job I ever had.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if now you've been tuning in on Mondays on the Discord to watch Mobile Suit Gundam, right?
Right.
And the whole theme of Universal Century Gundam is like, the horrors of war, right? And there's this meme out there. It originated on Tumblr back when that was still relevant. it's a little like cartoony drawing of, the original Gundam shooting its like gun in an arc, and in the arc of the shot is this text that says war is bad, and then there's a little stick figure caricature character looking at the Gundam saying, wow, cool robot, like he's missing the point, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. I mean, like I said, we all look back and realize the horrific nature, but you get a couple of combat vets together, sooner or later it's going to get to the conversation of, yeah, you remember how cool that shit was?
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, bro.
it's like I don't know. It's like, this is sort of, I know this is a weird side tangent in a discussion about, Space Marine tanks, but it's like, I don't know. I've always thought, like, I'm pretty certain people understand that as cool as this looks, it is also horrible. I don't discount people's ability to, recognize both,
Well, yeah, because I mean, then you also have the side effect of, and I don't know if it was just for the movie or if he actually said it, but in Gettysburg, Robert E. Lee says, to be a good soldier, you must love the army. To be a good commander, you must be willing to kill the thing you love.
Yeah.
So you have that side of it. But the actual fighting, yeah, I hate to admit, there's a thrill there, man. There's a reason that the Hells Angels were formed of pilots that came back from World War II that could not get that thrill anymore.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like all they were dogfight, doing some legitimate hero shit in those planes. It's like I can like, I was never in the military, but I can understand that,
Yeah, to suddenly come back and they're like, hey, that was a lot of fun. Excuse me, could you? It's Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
Sitting in the insurance company, just staring at the wall,
Yeah,
going, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, it's like staring at the wall. Like it's like I used to be somebody, man. I was doing hero shit, man, and now I'm doing this. You know?
Yeah, there's a reason it's so hard. It took me so long to find a company to settle in because I kept looking, not necessarily for the combat, but I was looking for not just the level of command, but the level of, that you could invest, you could really get your brain behind.
Yeah,
and you didn't see that.
Yeah, that's understandable. But yeah, getting off that side tangent, I'm so sorry
about that, guys.
It's like we started sinking into the tangent, and then I'm just like, fuck it, dive head first.
Yeah, might as well.
But yeah, so
you get the MLRS, and, little things like I've said before. You got the ventilation system, which seems weird for Space Marines, but literally you got air vents in front of the missiles.
I want to say that's less for them to like say
the engine.
I want to say that's more for the engine than for them, like same as the exhaust, because their armor contains everything they need.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, is that the engine, or is that just they added it because it made sense to add it? So.
Yeah, like they can fight in space in that power armor, like in space, underwater. I mean, shit. They could even fight for a while without the helmet in space. So what's that tell you?
It's holding their breath.
no, like unironically, they just hold your breath, idiot. Basically, if their helmet comes off, but And on this one, on the Whirlwind, as you can see on the front, that giant targeting sensor.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting for an indirect fire weapon. So,
I mean, granted, it might be some kind of laser designation system for firing a closer target. When for firing indirect, for firing direct. Like I'm thinking of like functioning like a.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn it direct fire like you could turn almost any weapon system with it, depending on how stupid you are, brave you are.
The difference between direct fire and indirect fire is where you're pointing it.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
But because I would imagine there may be situations where you need to direct fire your Whirlwind into something. Like something big, close. Like
I was going to say, that's an oh shit moment right there.
Yeah. That's the Whirlwind. This is the Whirlwind Hyperios variant.
Oh, so 2 banks of fuck off missiles.
Yeah. This one I would say is even closer to the MLRSs that you fought beside.
Oh yeah. That's definitely the. Brother, what? I need a shitload right now.
That is the Space Marine version of you see that apartment complex full of Tau children? Yeah, yes, brother. I don't wanna. Yeah.
But brother, we're salamanders. Don't make me repeat myself.
Well, I mean, listen. The salamanders only give a shit about human children.
Yeah, that's always loved. They're like, oh, but they're so gentle and caring. Yeah, go ahead and be something different.
Be something that ain't different, but especially be an Eldar, because they got the same grudge their dad has. But yeah, and once again, this is Dark Angels. So sometimes they're shooting it at the Imperial Guard because they heard those guardsmen heard something about one of them has fallen, something like that.
He's fallen and he can't get up.
Brother, I have fallen. Brother, why are you getting out your bolt pistol, brother? Brother.
Rowboat. Oh god.
This is the. I know they're. I want to say this might have doubled as an anti-air vehicle as well.
I mean, depending on what type of missiles, you could easily put the equivalent of Sidewinders or Stingers in there.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that just because of the big sensor in the middle of the launcher.
Well, and there is a real world equivalent. For a while, the U.S. didn't have a decent, simple anti-air platform. So they took a Humvee and they put a turret on the back
with Sidewinder missiles. I've heard this story.
With either Stingers or Sidewinders on either side, a 50 cal for, I guess, so you felt better about life, and the operator sitting right between it with a big ass infrared sight. So yeah, that's literally they're like, okay, well that'll work.
And this was also back in the day when we still had the problem where the infrared missiles would go after the forbidden heat signature in the sky.
Yeah. A buddy of mine transferred over to ADA, Air Defense Artillery, and he managed to get deployed back on the same base as I is. And I went to see him, and he's like, "You got to see this fucking thing." I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "It's like." He's like, we got drunk and built something.
I mean, okay, to be fair, that is 90% of the United States' weapon design.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean so
the difference between us and Russia is we have the budget to fuck around.
Yeah, they have to find out right away. But yeah, I mean, literally, what the hell was it? I can't remember what that thing was called. But it was just it was a shit show.
Yeah. It was like at the dawn of the U.S. being like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should have some of these fancy ass missiles that can track targets from like ground fire, you know.
But I love they throw a 50 cal in there though.
Yeah,
because reasons.
Hey,
they literally put a 50 cal in.
Yeah. It's like. You just know some of the operators that thing were probably like, I can hit it, you know, I can hit that plane up there with a 50 cal.
I think it was literally they trained them like, okay, if it's a helicopter, it's close in, pretty much other than a Hind D, a 50 cal is going to open it up. So
yeah,
just don't waste a missile. So.
Yeah, I mean, except not in a Hind D because Hind D is just a tank that flies.
Oh God. Those are the only things we really worried about because those son of a bitches could take a beating.
Yeah.
And had a lot of goddamn missiles. They could carry 4 to 8 wire-guided anti-tank missiles back in the day.
The Hind D is actually stupid, but in like a good way.
Okay, so funny story in Korea, the North Koreans got Hind Ds.
Right.
And they were so proud of them. But the problem with the Hind D is it cannot hover for very long.
Yeah, because it's so fucking heavy, right?
So our guys are in Cobras, little lightweight, tiny, scrawny little Cobras. You do what's called a border trace, and the helicopters would race back and forth along the border, and then all of a sudden the Cobra would stop and turn and face towards the border. And of course, the North Korean helicopter has to mirror their actions.
Yes.
And then they would just hover.
So yeah, so
you see the IND start dropping out of the sky.
Yeah, they're trying to hover in this basically this flying tank on rotor blades that's not designed to hover, but it has to mirror them because it's fucking protocol.
And all we could think of is some poor bastard got back and was like, Captain Wang, I couldn't hover. Bang! All right, who wants to fly now?
Yeah, because North Korea being North Korea. But speaking of anti-air, though, here is the here are the two. I want to say they're actually not available on tabletop anymore because literally nobody used them on tabletop ever. This is the Hunter.
The fuck what is that? Just a big fuck off cannon or something?
Okay. That is a magazine-fed anti-air missile launcher.
Okay, but for shooting down what, B-52s a continent away?
Okay. So
it's like launches Phoenix missiles or something.
Okay. So here's some context. Here's some out of lore context. This is a tabletop game context. There are flyers on tabletop, right? Airplanes, basically.
Right.
So the general idea was that I think it was like 6th or 7th edition, might have been 7th. They came out with the rules for flyers. That's basically, fighter jets, bombers, alien monsters that can fly. It's basically a catch-all term for anything that can fly as a unit.
Okay, sure.
So that was the idea. They wanted to introduce flying units, flying machines, airplanes to tabletop. Now, you see, they came up with a rule for flyers. Because flyers are flying, you can't shoot at them with regular ground vehicles. You need anti-aircraft vehicles. So the whole idea was they began giving anti-aircraft vehicles to the armies and their sole purpose was to shoot at flyers because they were the only thing that could shoot at them. And the ones handed out, we're going to see the other one when we're done with this one, but this is one of the ones they gave Space Marines. This is the Hunter. You may have seen the Wyvern for the I don't think we covered the Wyvern in
No, we didn't get to that one. I don't think.
It's like a quad barrel fucking autocannon on a Chimera mount.
I was just going to ask you, did they ever make something the equivalent of the Duster? And yes, they did.
Yeah, the Imperial Guard version was the Imperial Guard anti-air vehicle was the Wyvern, and it's a Chimera hull with a quad autocannon turret.
Okay, so basically the Duster and the ZSU 23-4 had a child, and it was ugly.
Yeah, but this is one of the two because because naturally Space Marines get two. This is their surface to air missile version. This is basically a SAM launcher.
Damn, that's a big ass SAM though.
Yeah, and as you can see, connecting from the launcher down into the tank, that is a magazine of missiles.
Oh shit!
So this thing, it fires. It takes a second to load another missile.
I was going to say, I wonder if it lowers down, loads it, and pops it, because otherwise you got the ammo exposed. Which is, I know it's a rear area weapon, but still.
This thing wouldn't be like mainline battlefield. This would be parked way back, providing surface to air coverage. But yeah, no, it's like big exposed. I want to say the missiles feed up, so it doesn't.
That's what it looks like. It's almost like a weapons magazine.
Yeah, and you've got the big targeting radar sensor system on the next to the launcher. I'm sorry. It's so weird. It's cool. It really is. Yeah, it's like the thing is that after 7th edition, they took away the rules that only anti-air vehicles can target flyers because nobody was willing to buy a $60 fucking tank for $40K that only did one thing that you brought just in case your enemy brought a specific unit,
Right, and I could see that, and again, the ground stuff can't fire. You have 50 cals, you have bolters. I mean, there's no reason you could not fire a heavy bolter at a flyer,
especially because
depending on the height and everything else.
Yeah, especially because they're rocket assisted bullets,
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
but yeah, it's like, so what happened on tabletop? These aren't available for purchase anymore. Like these weren't Forge World models; they were just regular, Citadel plastic. They are not available anymore, literally because nobody bought them. Like their only purpose was to shoot down airplanes, so nobody was going to buy a unit that had specifically one role. When 8th edition came out, they tried to rebalance the anti-aircraft vehicles around being able to shoot at the ground too. Some were more successful than others. Like the Wyvern is still around for the Imperial Guard because they were able to adapt it. It's 4 autocannons. Who's going to say no to that, right?
Yeah. It's like a rifleman.
Yeah. It is literally just more gun. But the whole they tried to balance it around rules where like these things would get like penalties to firing at the ground, but you could fire it at the ground. But then they were just like, nobody bought them still. So when 10th edition came around, they just shit canned these. But I still think they're neat,
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
There was a good thought process that went into it, just bad execution of it. So.
Honestly, I think because they used to do Aeronautica Imperialis, which is like the epic scale airplane minigame. They should have had these as like, I actually think they did have these in this when they released Space Marines for it. Like that game isn't available anymore. They folded all of the Imperium models into Legions Imperialis. So those are just units in that now. But this was a model that was available in that as well. And I think honestly they should have just stuck to that.
Okay, it's interesting. I'm looking at are those like spikes to stabilize it?
Yeah, those are stabilizers.
Okay, so it literally puts down the stabilizers. Okay.
Yeah, this thing isn't meant to move. It's meant to. I mean, it can move, but it's meant to take up a position and then hold it.
Okay, interesting. So that's a really interesting added little touch to it too.
Yeah. All right. That's that. That's the hunter. Here is the stalker.
Samson, wherever you are, I wish you could see this, brother. You would be laughing your ass off at some of this stuff.
Okay. Now this is where it gets dumb. All right. So now this is
dumb.
I mean, like, okay, like as an actual, like, what the fuck is this design kind of thing. So okay, now you can probably get what it's supposed to do just by looking at it, right?
Right. It's just basically, throw a bunch of shit in the air and hope something lands in.
It's not a Gatling system. It feeds through 3 independent barrels that all the fire one after the other.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. Now, when you think of surface to air gun batteries, you think of, like, say, the ADATs, for example, or other systems, which can 360 degree traverse, right? Like with their
logically, yeah.
The radar dish, the guns, it's all in the turret.
Please don't tell me that thing doesn't.
Okay.
Because the radar cannot turn.
The central structure that has the radar dish for tracking cannot turn.
And plus, it's another stabilized vehicle, so once it locks down, it has to unlock and turn the whole vehicle.
Yeah. So the radar dish can't turn, and the guns themselves, you'll notice they're on 2 separate little turret rings,
which they can turn.
Yeah, the guns turn, but they can't turn a full 360.
I mean, EA, exactly, the Gepard, but at least the Gepard was, number one, cool as shit, and number 2, it could actually turn its radar dish to aim at the target.
Yeah. This is like I can imagine this getting maybe 90 degrees per gun.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like 90 degrees per gun, like assuming the guns are slaved together, that they always turn together. So yeah, but why not just put it on a...
Yeah, why not just put it on a See, this is when you run into it looks cool, but all they had to do was literally stop any veteran and go, hey, does this make sense? And they're going to go, what are you, stupid?
Yeah, exactly. I'm certain the guns are nice, but it can't actually aim them at an aircraft if that aircraft leaves that 90 degree field of fire.
Yeah, unless the aircraft just nice enough to just stop in one spot.
Right. And believe me, I've read Double Eagle. Those Chaos pilots are not the White Bat don't wait for no one. Man, I'm almost to that book and reading Gaunt's Ghosts now. I can't wait to read it again.
I got off listening to another topic, which I will not say the name of the person. It's a biography, but I won't say their name because it's pretty highly controversial. Yeah. He was born in Germany and I believe he grew up in Austria, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get the Twitch police after you.
And listen. I'm pretty certain he was a cool guy. Just took up painting and never bothered anyone.
Well, I mean, I'm literally watching it or literally reading it because they're calling everybody this, and I'm like, wait a minute. I need to learn more about this guy.
But
out of admiration, just curiosity. But yeah.
I'm sorry. We're talking about the anti-air vehicles. That just has me thinking of Double Eagle and how they announced the sequel, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Remember, you were absolutely nerding out.
Yeah, unironically, one of my top 3 40K novels. It's getting a sequel. We used to pray for times like this. But yeah, that's the Hunter. That's the not the Hunter. That's the Stalker. It is an anti-aircraft turret that cannot shoot more than 90 degrees in front of it.
That is a U.S. government-built vehicle right there.
Yeah,
that is definitely something. That is the Sergeant York of the Space Marine weapons.
Yeah, that is the Tech Marines were doing lines of warp dust when they thought of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, the crap that the rat dudes. Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's like Chapter Master, this will shoot down any heretic vehicles that get within its firing range. Okay,
Believe how this thing works.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but how do the guns turn? Turn? The guns are supposed to turn.
Yeah, it's literally the meme with the marketing guy going,
Yeah, well, okay.
Does it shoot down the enemy?
Yeah, no,
the enemy.
This thing is probably born in the Space Marine version of the Pentagon Wars.
Okay, I gotta rewatch that. For those that have never watched Pentagon Wars, please watch it. It's not far from the truth. I'm not going to say how I know that. Let's just put it. I've been out on a few weapons testings.
Yeah, on the one hand. Oh, let's save the Pentagon Wars discussion because we're going to get into that in a couple of vehicles.
Oh God, that bad.
Yeah. Okay, now because the Imperium loves its Sturm Tigers, the Vindicator.
Okay, that I do like that though. I do like that.
Yeah, this thing is up armored to the gills, and it honestly, this looks like more of a viable Sturm Tiger wannabe than any of the ones from the Imperial Guard.
Okay, I want you to look up something called the M728, just on your computer right now. Look up the M728. And tell me they did not go, that! I want that right there.
All right, hold on. Let me just open a thing here, pull that to the side. What do you call it? M728?
M728, yep.
M728 Combat Engineer Vehicle. Hold on. Oh!
Does that look vaguely familiar?
Hold on. Is that up on stream? Hold on. Yeah. I call him. I call him Little Stumpy.
yeah. I mean, that's the same gun with the same problems that the Sheridan had. Only this one only fired squash head rounds, demo round.
You gotta give it. What the range?
No,
the range. Was this
it's
an indirect
literally
fire
designed
weapon?
to. No, it's literally designed to roll up to buildings and say, "I don't like that wall anymore."
Oh, okay. So it's a siege.
It's a demo gun. It's a demo siege gun.
Okay, so
big ass blade.
I would say
there's actually a fold-out crane. That thing that goes around the back.
Yeah.
That's actually you can stand that up in the air and create a crane on that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what I was worrying is how are you gonna hit the target with that fucking little midget dick gun? And I was like, okay, it's shooting at buildings. They don't move.
Yeah, what much? Yeah. they might have to shoot him with that gun, but yeah, and that's all I could think of is somebody saw a 728 and a Sturm Tiger and said, okay, what if they had a baby?
Also, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that might be a heavy some kind of gun turret on the back to provide rear cover.
It could be. I mean, it would make sense because that thing is incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the standard Vindicator. Here's the Vindicator laser destroyer.
Oh my God. That looks like, I'm not big on anime, but I'm sorry, it looks like some anime shit right there.
So yeah, this is a variant of the Vindicator that basically this is a tank destroyer. It's got
it would definitely carve open a tank.
I want to say I want to say it's called a laser destroyer. It is a quadruple heavy las cannons.
Now, is this like a rotary gun, or do they all fire independently?
They all fire at once.
So, oh my God!
So this is just evaporate everything between you and the enemy tank,
and then wait an hour for everything to recharge
or cool off. Yeah,
cool off. Yeah, the heat sink's got to be amazing on that thing.
Yeah, there was a Horus Heresy variant of this thing that had a neutron laser cannon on it. For when you not only want to vaporize them, but turn everything in the path of the shot radioactive.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to kill that tank. Which one? The one behind those 4 buildings over there.
Yeah, right. But I like the Vindicators just because they're very clearly up armored. They're up armored. They're designed to take hits as they're going in to go for their target. This one's got an older pattern, a Stormbolter on a internally controlled pintle mount.
What are those things called? Hellbrutes?
Hellbrutes.
Yeah, and you just know at some point in all of 40K history, somebody's looked at a Hellbrute and said, "Hang on, let me see if this works."
Do you mean those sort of mutatious looking Chaos Dreadnoughts?
Yeah.
Those are Hellbrutes.
Somebody's open to Hellbrute with one of those. Once.
Just bored a hole through its fucking torso.
Like, I could do this. No, you can't. If the captain catches you, he'll, I don't know, turn you into a servitor. But I gotta try it just once.
Yeah.
What was that? Nothing.
But yeah, those are the Vindicators, of very obviously siege tanks. Now here we get to another one of those like really ubiquitous Space Marine vehicles, the Land Raider.
Okay, yeah, that is actually, except for the exposed track, is one of the more sensible kind of, I can see this in the real world.
Well, I mean, it's literally, it's just one of those World War I British tanks.
How do they get in they've got to get in from the front.
The forward bit, like right here, that is an assault ramp that drops down. Okay,
because otherwise, I'm looking at the exhaust on the back, which means there's no way they're getting. It's a rear ice engine.
It's also got those doors on the side too.
I'm just picturing somebody trying to squeeze their ass and armor out of that door.
Well, I mean, the Land Raider's job is to carry Terminators.
Oh my god!
So this thing is designed to truck the heavy troops right in the enemy's face. You know,
what was that one Space Marine? I think it was Death Watch that he kept working out to the point he couldn't fit in his armor anymore.
Oh, he was like this manlet-sized Imperial fist. So he just kept working out and getting bigger and stronger, and then eventually they told him to stop because they had to redesign his power armor every time he got too big for it.
I'm just picturing that guy in Terminator armor trying to get out of that thing. Going, I can fit through the hatch. No, you can't, fat ass. You can't fit.
But yeah, so here's a design quibble I have with this thing. Now, so it's got the dual heavy bolters on the front, right?
Right.
It's got the Hunter Killer missile on the top, and you'll notice it's got the twin las cannon sponsons.
Okay.
Now this is something I've always So when you're actually building the model, it doesn't matter if you put the spons, because do you see that door right in front of the las cannon?
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, it's like, sir, the door won't open. Why? It's hitting the las cannon. Turn the las cannon, you know?
Or just as you're getting out, they decide to fire, and Brother Demetrius suddenly is standing in front of the Emperor going, yes. Brother Demetrius is like, Emperor? How'd I get... Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing, though. There's two of those door slots on the side of the hull when you're building the model, right?
Right.
You put the door on one, you put the sponson on the other. Now, the part that's always sort of, triggered me a little bit.
Put the sponson in front of the door.
That's always how I build mine. Because why wouldn't you?
Well, that would make a hell of a lot more sense. Plus, you could step out through the door if you're getting attacked from behind. You could literally step out from the door and just cover the ass end of the vehicle.
Yeah. It's worth pointing out, though, the sponsons on these are also 180 degree coverage.
So yeah, you could kind of. It would make a lot more sense to put the sponsons on the back.
Yeah, because with the way Land Raiders work, when you're assaulting the target, you're either getting out to the sides or at the front. So then you're covering your boys with the las cannon if they're getting out the side. So it's like, why would you build the gun back? You know?
Yeah, like I said, if you've got that blind spot to the rear, but you could easily cover it with open the door, step out, and start shooting.
Yeah, but the Land Raider was very deliberately patterned after the World War I British tank, I think it's called the Mark I.
Yeah. You're getting some Mark 1 through 5 kind of stuff there.
Yeah, in fact, when you think about it, the Land Raider is just a Mark I tank backwards. Because remember,
Now I can't unsee that.
Yeah. Well, no, I know when I first bought a Land Raider years ago, I noticed that, like, because this is the model they've been using forever, and for the Land Raider, and this was the first one I bought, and I just looked at it, and it's like, this is just a backwards Mark I.
Now that design, the Land Raider design goes back to the Heresy, doesn't it? Because I swear I've seen Horus Heresy stuff with
the Land Raider was okay. So they developed the so they had the Spartan assault tank. That was like the granddaddy of the Land Raider, right? Or and then what happened was, so this is the funniest thing in the world. Archon Land, right? He was the guy who found he was the guy, like, he was the premier Magos of his day, and he earned his fame because he worked on the STCs for the it was called the Land Pattern Assault Tank, and it's sort of what ended up happening was a nickname caught on among the Astartes during the Great Crusade, where they called it Land's Raider.
Oh, okay.
And then as time went on, it became known as the Land Raider.
As shit happens, yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, the Land Speeder was also developed by Archon Land. It was called the Land Pattern Assault Speeder, and then people just started calling it Land Speeder, and then it just became the Land Speeder. And
then some guy named Lucas sued them.
Well, the thing is, Land was alive for this moniker to take hold of the vehicle. He fucking hated it.
Okay.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, it's the Land Speeder," and then he's like, "No, it's called a Land Pattern Assault Speeder." You know.
Actually.
Yeah. No, he spent the rest of his days actuallying people about the Land Raider and the Land Speeder and what they were supposed to be called, but it just, the heresy happened. He died, and it just stuck. You know.
By the way, what is Horus's last name again?
Luperderm.
Okay, thanks.
Horus Luperderm Heresy.
I always wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, this is a heavy combat. It's basically like a heavy IFV.
Yeah. This is their idea of a Bradley without the turret. So
yeah, I mean, it's like getting a Bradley with the armor exceeding a main battle tank.
Yeah, which, I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because back when armor facings exist, this had 14 armor on all sides, the highest it could go. So yeah, this thing was a bitch to fight. The only thing that was really more obnoxious to fight than a Land Raider was a Necron Monolith, which also had 14 armor on all sides. It had the living metal rules, so it could shrug off glancing blows. But yeah,
you said glancing.
But yeah, that's the regular Land Raider. This is a slightly tiny image. I'm sorry. This is the Land Raider Ares.
Okay, so God, they do love those demo guns, don't they?
Yeah, this was like so there was this period where GW was making, like, they allowed they released rules that allowed people to build their own Land Raider variant. And one of the ones they used as an example was the Ares for the Dark Angels.
Okay, so GW didn't always have a stick up their ass. Okay.
No, they didn't. But yeah, the variations on this, it uses twin heavy flamer sponsons, twin assault cannon turret on the front, and a demolisher cannon on the front.
So if you charge one of those, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah, the draw, like, for these variants, and they're still considered canon. For these variants, the what you would lose for all the firepower was troop transport capacity.
Oh yeah, because there's nowhere to put anybody by the time you squeeze all that shit in there.
Yeah. So these Land Raider, these custom Land Raider variants, and the ones they canonized with the rules as examples, were basically like they were turning the Land Raider from more of an IFV into an actual battle tank.
From an IFV to an FUCK.
Yeah, from an IFV to an FUCK. Yeah. FUC, but yeah, that's that one. Like as a demolisher cannon for as a siege gun, and then you've got lots of like anti-personnel weapons to clear the road as it rolls up.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, you could just basically fire that gun down the road, and then when everything, you missed. Did I?
Yeah, and then you fire the demolisher cannon, and everything in front of you is just vaporized.
Yeah. So it's like, I didn't really miss.
Yeah, but up next is my favorite variant, the Crusader. Okay, fun fact. In terms of like model releases, this was the original Land Raider variant.
Brother, I heard you like guns.
Like this was the original. Let's take a Land Raider and make a different version of it. So this was this released with, I want to say it was Codex Armageddon in 3rd edition, and that was when they first released the Black Templars.
No wonder you were spazzing out. Okay, everything came up Millhouse for you that edition, didn't it?
So what this one does, they replaced the heavy bolters with twin assault cannons. It's got a multi-melta pintle mount, and they replaced the las cannons with what are called hurricane bolter arrays. It's 6 bolters strapped together, and because all of the ammo because the last cannon needs to be plugged into the tank's reactor. Yeah, Land Raiders function off miniature fusion reactors.
I was going to say, which makes a lot more sense. I understand why they wouldn't have those for the guard.
Yeah.
Because giving, troops probably mostly poorly trained, barely trained, very not necessarily well read. Hey, I'm going to give you a reactor.
Yeah,
see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a fusion reactor. Don't break it.
No, you don't cook your.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever you do, don't doom us.
Yeah. No, your food's not supposed to glow like that. What are you doing?
I've just been cooking the corpse starch burgers on the reactor, Sarge. What's wrong with that? But yeah, because the Hurricane bolters have all the ammo external, that frees up space. Yeah, that frees up the space that normally all the capacitors and everything for the last cannons would take up inside the tank. So while the Crusader variant is smaller guns, it can fit more troops.
Okay, so yeah, that's the trade-off then.
Yeah. The Black the story behind the Crusader is the Black Templars jury-rigged these things to make room for more Terminators during a particularly violent siege, so they could just drive the Land Raiders right inside the target, and then deploy the Terminators inside.
Because once you get the vehicle in, I hate to say it, but the situation involving the vehicle becomes secondary.
Yeah.
Once it completes its job, it's expendable.
Yeah, and also you'll notice, on the front track, you'll notice there's those that looks like armoring.
They look like spare track blocks almost.
Do you know what they are? They're called assault charges. They're giant claymore mines.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually that makes sense.
Yeah, you wheel this thing up, you set those off, you drop the ramp, and out come the assault Terminators.
Perfect.
Yeah, so anybody who isn't shredded by the giant claymore mines is about to have a really bad day when the fucking Terminators get to them.
I might be willing to admit that we did strap claymores to the front of tanks.
Why wouldn't you? I will say though,
we to use them, and we kind of wish we could have, but
I'll also say that putting the Hurricane bolters in the back makes a little more sense on this one.
Yeah, again, you've got a wider field of fire then.
Yeah, because, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, it's in front of the exit door, but on the other hand, this is also a tank strictly meant to get guys in. But personally, I would still put the sponson forward rather than...
Could you strip those bolters out if you needed personal weapons? In other words, they're basically bolt rifles?
I want to say they're designed in such a way that the firing mechanism is slave to the turret. It's not like you can just put a fucking trigger mechanism back in and go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot cooler if you could.
I mean, yeah, it would. but yeah, it's. I personally love the Crusader. I mean, just because it's my chapter's variant.
Contribution.
They came up with this thing. It spent then afterwards the admech was like, okay, we're not going to censure you for this, but we need time to approve it. And then it took 200 years, and they were like, okay, you're good to go. You can use this thing from now on.
It reminds me of that meme style with the little guys. They kind of look like little potatoes. And they're always like standing there, and they've like put extra armor on.
Oh,
something.
Flork! Yeah.
Yes, the little Florks.
Yeah, Flork's ERA soldiers that put ERA on everything.
I just pictured like some Black Templar Florks standing in front of this thing, holding their arms, going, well.
Yeah, I'll always remember someone did a comic of that where it's like some anime girl is supposed to be like a commander on the deck of an aircraft carrier or something, and while she's commanding some people, the Flork guys are in the background starting to slap ERA on a fighter jet, and then and then she turns around. One of them's holding up an ERA panel, like as they just stare in awkward silence, and then the last panel he just him slapping it on the plane.
One of my favorite of those 40K is basically a female commissar, and they're slapping ERA panels on her, and they have little guard helmets on.
Yeah, but that's the Crusader the Crusader variant. Next up is the Land Raider Helios.
Okay, yeah, again, we've got an indirect fire weapon, we've got the range, maybe the ranging sensor, the infrared sight, who knows what. Yeah. And then we've got some defensive weapons just in case.
Yeah, I want to say this variant cannot carry troops at all, but it's...
Yeah, I wouldn't see how, yeah.
It's designed to operate as a more frontline MLRS system with anti-tank defensive weapons.
And because I have to be me, all of these, the only thing I would criticize is the exposed track. Yeah. I don't care what you make it out of, it's the weak spot. You want something covering your track.
Yeah, that bit of track in the front is like begging to take a fuck. I mean, you could hit that with an autocannon and probably...
Yeah, and blow the track. And once the track's blown, I'm trying to remember. I think it was one of the Gaunt's Ghosts where they literally says, "Oh, we threw track. Don't worry, we'll have it on in 10 minutes." And I'm listening to it in my car, and I'm going, "The fuck you will."
Right.
My ass. You're going to walk track back on in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, no, I've done this enough in real life. You ain't getting that on in 10 minutes.
I'm like, I don't care what that shit's made out of, man. It could be Jello pudding pops. You ain't getting it back on in 10 minutes.
Oh, one moment. Cowboy Pascal, thank you for the raid, and welcome, Raiders. We are currently in the midst of a discussion about the lore of Space Marine tanks, and my buddy, hi, Gaskell. And my buddy CDAT here has a lot of experience with tanks, and we just taking apart the tanks.
Oh God! Suddenly everybody starts leaving. No. Yeah.
Hey, Chris,
yeah, that's all you're gonna do. All you're gonna do is you zap that track on one side, and all that thing's gonna do is. And again, it's a rear echelon vehicle.
Yeah.
But there's also the proverbial combat deployed ones. So.
Yeah, and plus the fact that sometimes the rear line doesn't always remain the rear line.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's the rear line until it's the front line. Then it's the front line.
Then it's the fuckery line. Yeah. You're gonna
Box.
I've been boxed.
Box.
But yeah, But yeah, that's what. But yeah, this is just an up-armored, upgunned whirlwind variant.
Yeah,
You know,
and nothing wrong with that. So
yeah. I mean, it never hurts to have your MLRS system also be able to punch holes in tanks, and also take a hit. But yeah, that's the Helios. Here is the Redeemer.
okay, so just a couple of light. Those rotary guns,
Those are the assault cannons from the.
Okay,
yeah,
they look smaller. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, this one is this.
So this is just all the guns.
Yeah.
Somebody ordered all the guns.
Yeah. This variant. Okay, so now you remember what the Crusader pattern was designed for? More troops. Roll right in the enemy's face. You notice this one has the assault charges on the front as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got it. So basically, what happened was the Salamanders saw the Land Raider Crusader being used by the Black Templars, and were like, "We want one of those."
I was gonna say, Dad.
So what they did was they did basically the same thing, but rather than using the Hurricane Bolter arrays, they put what are called Flamestorm cannons on the sponsons because
Salamanders went with flame weapons.
Yeah, because of course it's the Salamanders and they like their fire. Which, funnily enough, though, I don't think this version gets the multi-melta that the Crusader does.
Well, what a shame.
Which is because that's also a very Salamanders thing.
Oh, whenever I run multi-melter in Space Marine 2 on my heavy, I put Salamander armor on.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah, but this one has either equal or very close troop transport. Actually, no, this one does have equal transport capacity to the Crusader. So yeah, that's again the same idea. It's designed for getting your boys in super close, popping the giant claymore mines on the front, and then you drop the ramp, and now they've got very angry Salamander Terminators in their face.
Which, I don't care who you are, that day sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, look, they're nice people, but they'll punch a bitch if they have to. But yeah, that is the Redeemer. Here is the Land Raider Prometheus. Now, you'll probably immediately notice it looks more heavily armored. Like they took away the forward turret in the middle and put armor paneling there.
So they could just either punch through or.
Yeah, it's also the sponson guns are the sponson guns are quad heavy bolters.
Oh wow!
And on the top, you'll notice there's a sensor, right?
Right.
This is a more mass producible command and control Land Raider.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is the when the boss has got to get close to the action.
Yeah, this is a command and control version of the Land Raider. Like this would be something like, say, the Company Command would be in.
I was gonna say something that would piss off the Ultramarine fans out there. It's like,
oh, go ahead and shoot.
Do they have a Marnius Calgar version where most of the vehicle is missing? It's just a torso.
We're getting there.
The Marnius variant.
Yeah, it has it doesn't have any tracks. The
no tracks, no side sponsons, just a block sitting on the ground.
We need to have Space Marines in wheelchairs. Shit was so fucking funny. It's
God.
Like Marnaeus Calgar is literally a nugget. He has no arms. He has no legs. But they have the technology to work around that.
Marnius Calgar, you ain't got no limbs.
Yeah, it's literally like the fucking Forrest Gump Space Marine, like Marnaeus Calgar, you ain't got no legs
or arms or nothing.
Do you think Brother Gump and Calgar founded a shrimping company together?
Oh yeah. Basically, it's not actually shrimp. It's All right, we got a lot of Tyranids. We got boiled Tyranids, fried Tyranids,
Oh my god.
Tyranid kebabs. They went into business.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
they just follow the high fleets, yeah, there's like a shrimping battleship flying through the clouds of Tyranids in the high fleet, just harvesting Tyranids.
See, Pip's got the right idea. Yeah, Space Marine in a wheelchair, also known as a dreadnought. Yeah.
Right, so yeah, not really much to say about this one. It's a command and control land raider.
Yeah, pretty straightforward setup.
Yeah. The next one is okay. This is a funny one. Do you like las cannons?
I'm seeing so many problems with the las cannons interfering with each other that I.
Right. So this thing.
I'm going to go full spastic if I start down that road.
Yeah. So all accounting, this has 8 las cannons, three double turrets, or wait, 2 double sponsons, 1 double turret, and 2 singles on the front. This is the Land Raider Terminus Ultra. This was a Ultramarines variant of the Land Raider, and it's entire. Okay, so
every time it fires, all you hear is boom.
Yeah, like we were talking about those, custom job Land Raiders that they let you build, and they made some to be like official examples. This is the Ultramarines version, and the whole point of this thing is that it is designed to put hurt on big things. Like this, it can't transport troops. Its entire interior is dedicated to additional power for the las cannons.
So if you alpha strike this thing, all you hear is reactor shut down. Overheat.
Yeah, I was about to bring it's like average laser boat and BattleTech experience, but yeah, this thing is basically just designed to machine gun las cannon fire at things.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Figures it would be Ultramarines,
Yeah. So that's the and we were thinking of, by the way, so yeah, that's their custom Land Raider variant. It's just las cannons all day. The next one. This is, remember we said Marneus Calgar's Land Raider?
Yeah.
This is the Land Raider Excelsior.
This is his personal wheels, huh?
It is not specifically his, but his personal Land Raider is one of these.
Okay.
And this is like a chapter command Land Raider. So like this is the one that like the chapter master, the high marshal, whatever the fuck, would be in this thing. And you'll notice in the back behind the guy with his command stick,
stick.
Yeah, you can see it back there is the command and control array.
Yeah, you can see the dish. Yeah.
It's more internalized than the Rhino Primaris, but obviously, this is a heavy frontline tank. So
I hate to tell, but those flags are kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
You're not gonna lie. It's like
it's also it's got the sponson mounted las cannons. The thing up at the front though is a grav cannon.
Okay.
That is a gun designed to shoot basically beams that manipulate gravity at the target.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically,
weird, but okay.
Okay, the basic idea is you shoot the target and then crush it under its own increased weight.
That is actually Calgar up top, isn't it? I'm looking at he's got the thing over his eye, he's got the iron halo.
It's on the wrong eye.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Okay,
that's not him. That's more like a generic commander model, but yeah, like that's the role of this thing. This is you probably would be lucky to have one of these in your chapter, and if you did, it would be the personal transport, of chapter command. The chapter master, the chief librarian, the chief, the head chaplain, those guys. The command squad.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like I said, they tend to give themselves away. Hey, let's slap more shit on it to tell everybody, shoot me first.
I mean, look. If the Space Marines ain't being ostentatious, they're really doing their job. Remember, the Raptors as a chapter are special because they don't do this.
Well, okay, so getting back to dipping back into Space Marine 2, have you seen the heavy armor that you get as the DLC?
Mm-hmm. The third company Gravis plate, yeah.
But just there's like shit everywhere.
It just bling on it. It's like listen, if you are wearing that armor, you are wearing your 32 pieces of flair.
I literally put it on and I ran it for one mission and I couldn't stand the sight of it. It's just shit everywhere. And I'm like, bro, come on. I mean, maybe the Carcharodons have the right idea.
Saltbreaker, exactly. The grav cannon is a long range juicer. you increase gravity by a factor of like 20 and just juice the target.
I would think even a Space Marine have a little trouble fielding that level of squash.
It was actually like the old rules for how plasma grav guns worked was that the higher your armor save, the more damage it would do.
Yeah, because it would squash you in your own armor.
Yeah, because heavier armor means heavier target, means increased gravity is going to affect it more.
Nasty.
Yeah, it's also kind of up in the air as to whether grav guns shoot balls of like whether they shoot singularities, like little balls of like singularity, like you know what singularity is, right? Yeah, where they shoot little singularity balls at targets, or if they shoot a beam. It's kind of up in the air.
I like the idea of the singularity because there is kind of I won't say a precedent for it, but there's something behind that. You know, like literally we've managed to make a miniature black hole, and then I'm going to shoot it at you.
Gaskell, I mean, to be fair, Malum Cato carries literally one of every Space Marine gun in his back pocket. But let's see. All right, so that's it for firstborn vehicles. Actually, we're now moving on to Primaris.
Oh,
so here is the first Primaris main battle tank. This is so the base hull is called the Gladiator.
Okay.
And this is the Lancer variant.
Okay, I have a question. like the little fox thing.
Yeah, hit
me. Okay, there's some kind of thrusters on this thing because when it fires, I'm just picturing it going like an ice cube across a hot griddle.
Right, because it's a hover tank, right?
It's a hover tank. It's like there's just okay shooting across the ground.
Okay, so what everything is here. So you see, because you remember the Stormbolter sponson mount on the Impulsor,
right? Yeah,
it's got that. So, it can swivel out, cover like a little over 180 degrees between both guns. The black box on the side of the turret, those are the smoke launchers. And the gun...
are they smoke generators or smoke launchers?
Smoke launchers, like they launch canisters.
Oh, okay.
And the main turret gun is called a laser destructor. It's a laser cannon.
Okay, so no recoil. I'm picturing it as a solid round gun, which is why I was like, okay, that thing's gonna skate like an ice cube.
yeah. This is like your main battle tank variant. And yeah, so it's similar. Basically, it's like it uses the Impulsor, like the hull of the Impulsor. But obviously up armored, they removed the rear transport compartment. It's this one's designed to as a main frontline battle tank.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. There's lots of extra doodads on it, lots of extra shit for stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's that one. This is the Gladiator Reaper. Now you're talking about recoil.
Yeah. Like I said, again, you've been. Okay, where did everybody go?
Yeah, you've officially strapped a the jet engine's equivalent of recoil to your turret. You also notice this one has its own variant of the Hurricane Bolt gun array this time on the side sponson. This thing's whole purpose is to lay down Daga.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is orcs literally heavy breathing right here.
Yeah, they want to loot. Gaskell Magaruk Thraka is in the chat right now. He's probably salivating, wanting to loot one of these.
And strap more Daka to it, because
yep,
never enough.
It could use some assault cannons on top of the turret, maybe in the front, maybe on the back.
A couple of orcs strapped to the front of it with guns.
Yeah. That's this variant. So yeah, this is the anti-infantry support variant, and here is the Gladiator Valiant. Now, this one has on the sponsons has multi-meltas, as you can notice.
Right.
The Top Gun we haven't talked about this one yet. That's called a Las Talon, and that's a twin-link Las Talon. Now, the idea behind a Las Talon is that it is a Las cannon, but remember how it fills a role. It's more of a rapid fire Las cannon.
Okay. So it probably trades some power for
shots,
more rounds, so to speak.
Yeah, it trades. That's the general idea on what do you call it? On tabletop, it is basically a las cannon that fires 2 shots instead of 1.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the general idea behind that. This is a kind of like skirmish range anti-tank vehicle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because not only has it got the Las Talon, because the Las Talon trades power for range. The trade-off is generally rate of fire for range. And think of it like the pulse lasers from BattleTech.
Okay, yeah. You're gonna more shot, less range, probably less damage, but a greater spread of hits.
Yeah, and it's got the multi-meltas, for additional closer range anti-tank firepower. And this one will also not have to deal with recoil because again, energy weapons.
I like to keep this for close encounters.
Yeah, rack shotgun. fucking love that movie. I'm so glad we watched it again. All right, so so that's the Gladiator. Those are the Primaris main battle tanks. Now we were talking about the Pentagon Wars.
What the?
This is the Repulsor. This was the original. This was the first Primaris tank ever introduced.
It looks like they tried to do too much with one vehicle.
Yeah. There's an actual meme out there. Hold on. I want to look this up. One moment. I want to look this up for the sake of the audience. Repulsor Pentagon Wars meme. It's got to be out. It's got to be. No, that's not it. I'm sorry for delaying the discussion, but hold on. Warhammer Repulsor meme. Damn it! I can't find it. It is literally just. It is a meme that is literally just the poster for the Pentagon Wars, but with this thing.
I can see why, because it just looks. I mean, they've got almost like an IR spotlight above the main gun. Got a coax, looks like a 50. They got some shit strapped to the turret. I don't know if those are supposed to be grenades or some kind of close-in defense system or whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. I can't find the meme. I tried. Okay. So here's what all it's got. So it's got like a Gatling version of the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. as a pintle mount.
Okay, yeah.
It has a single barrel las talon on the front. I want to say that can be traded out for a Gatling for an assault cannon. So it has the option of the las talon or the assault cannon, like a Gatling cannon. It's got the coaxial iron hail heavy stubber. You know, to the left, our right of the main gun on the turret. It's got the forward gun can be either twin las cannons or twin heavy bolters. It's got a okay, so the pods on the side are a mix of Fragstorm grenade launchers and smoke launchers.
Because again, I get where they were headed with it. The turret is kind of a mix between a modern tank and maybe World War II Korean era. So, they actually had some basis for that. You got the main gun, coaxial gun, you got the commander's heavy weapon, and then you've got a bow gun, which, of course, we've seen in movies and stuff like that a million times. Then it gets a little weird.
Yeah, so, Gatling heavy stubber, you got the coax iron hail heavy stubber, you've got the las talon or assault cannon on the turret, you've got the twin las cannon or twin heavy bolter on the front, and then you've got all those grenade the Fragstorm grenade launchers. The idea is if the enemy gets close, you pop the Fragstorms and then they just pop out and go off.
Okay, so it's a close-in defense. All right.
Yeah, it's close to defense system. You can only see it a little bit on the back. There's like that cylinder kind of popping up.
Right.
That is a 6-7 tube anti-aircraft missile launcher.
Yeah, they definitely tried to do a little too much with this one, which is why, the Pentagon Wars does fit.
Yeah, it's like that. I want to find that meme, but I'll have to. I have it, but I'm not gonna search my hard drive for a meme in the middle of a stream.
Nope. I need about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. I just need a quick 5-minute break.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thanks.
Actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to look up. I'm actually going to look for that meme.
You're gonna find it.
Yeah, I'm going to search for this on my hard drive. I need to find this. Damn it. Fuck. I'm imagining those tanks doing the same thing. Pip, which tanks were you talking about, if you don't mind my asking? Sorry, because I was, in the discussion. I wasn't really paying attention to chat. I do apologize, chat, because, like I said, we've been in the middle of this tank discussion all night. Okay, maybe it's here? God, where is this meme? I really want to find it for CDAD. He'll find it funny. Impulsor with a projectile weapon. Impulsor with the. The Impulsor is the troop transport. So that's got much lighter guns than the Gladiator. That's just got guns to defend the crew. Who's the red guy? No, he is a tech marine. He's a tech marine one of the tank operators, basically. That's what he's doing. Because that's kind of a thing with Space Marine tanks. Generally speaking, the people operating the vehicles are considered part of the tech marines. Like they are, specialized in driving the vehicles that are in the Space Marine arsenal. They generally only have regular Marines doing that for things like land speeders, bikes, etc. I found it. Nice. Hold on. One moment. Let me copy that. Put that in here. There it is. I'm going to put this up for when CDAD gets back.
I just got back, so I eagerly await.
There it is. I found the meme.
Cool. Yeah, the elephant, and they missed. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
Rabute Gilliman, Belisarius Call, The Throne Wars.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what if we put everything on one vehicle? Yeah, but does that ever work? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
I actually think the actual story, the Pentagon Wars, is kind of like the actual guy, because the guy wrote the book and then they based the movie on the book, but the actual story of it is a lot different. I'll have to find the video I watched. Like,
yeah, it's basically, it all started. They needed a new battle taxi.
Yeah,
but everybody kept bolting shit on.
Yeah. This for context, this is the M1, not M1 Abrams, the
M2 or M2 M3 Bradley.
Yeah, the Bradley fighting vehicle.
And when it came out, I mean, even us dumbasses on the line said, "Okay, but why all that shit on it?"
Yeah,
you know, it had side-mounted M231 guns. It had a missile launcher. It had an autocannon. It had a coaxial machine gun. It had smoke grenade launchers. It was tall as hell, still is. And its armor had to be relatively thin to be able to function. It's like,
yeah, because
okay, but it's tall. And the crews were taught to fight it like a tank.
Yeah, because that's all. I want to say that's another pitfall the Striker fell into.
Yes. They keep doing this. They keep over-gunning light vehicles. So.
Yeah. The funny thing about the Throne Wars, the Pentagon Wars, the funny thing about the Pentagon Wars was that the guy who actually wrote the book is kind of a psychopath. Like, because he's from a group of people in the military whose philosophy is that designing high-tech vehicles, high-tech vehicles is a waste of time, when we should just throw under-tech, cheap, disposable vehicles at the enemy. Like, literally, he wants to do the Soviet Russia thing.
Well, I mean, the whole point of the vehicle is to get the troops there.
Yeah.
Which, there is something to the philosophy of get the troops there, quit worrying about saving the vehicle. Worry about getting the troops there. And the whole point of the Bradley is it was supposed to hang out and be able to protect the troops. But then missile technology went to another level, of course.
Yeah, because that was
as it always does.
Yeah, because that was because we were talking about this. We were talking about the Sheridan and the Shillelagh missile. This was that whole period where they were like, okay, guns out, missiles in.
Yeah.
People thought the idea of main battle tanks firing guns might be on the way out, and they were like, okay, we need tanks to fire missiles now. So that was when they came up with the Sheridan and the Shillelagh missile, which was meant to be fired out the turret. And the Shillelagh was a piece of shit.
Oh God, yes.
So yeah, the Bradley kind of entered into that, was being developed in that interim period, and kind of evolved with the period into what it became, from just a battle taxi into something that was kind of like a fire support vehicle.
Yeah, and it just, again, and there were so many defenders of the Bradley, and I don't blame them. They had, the best they had was the M113, which there's a reason we called it the cracker box, okay? It was an aluminum box with little to no armor, minimal weaponry, and that was the one where you were leaning back against the fuel tanks.
Yeah.
And the only thing protecting you from a couple hundred gallons of flammable liquid was a little sheet of fiberglass. So I don't blame them. But then when they realized how tall it was, and the engine is underpowered, so it's really, in open desert, I'm in a tank pushing 70 tons, leaving the Bradleys behind.
Yeah, the guy who wrote the book, though, to give you an idea of what he thought was a good idea, he wanted to replace to replace the main fighters in the Air Force with small, cheap fighters with nothing but a machine gun, and then they would only have a radar and a flight stick.
Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah,
that's a little. That's to the retard level. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to find the actual video I watched on this. It's actually kind of like, bro, what's wrong with you? Like the guy who wrote Pentagon Wars.
Yeah, like I said, again, I understand keeping it minimal.
Yeah. For
the battle taxi, but then when you're going, hey man, why don't we just give you a Baka bomb?
Yeah. but yeah, the repulsor, first Primaris tank. It is basically it's a up armored infantry fighting vehicle. It's designed to it can transport a 10 Tacticus armored Space Marines or up to 5 Gravis. It can actually transport Terminators now though. Like 5 Terminators.
I'm looking at the chat, the M50 Ontos. Yeah, oh my God. It was just basically a beer can that was way overgunned. I think it was like 6 or 8  106 millimeter recoilless rifles.
Oh wait, is that the one with the 4 recoilless rifles on a top turret?
Yes.
Like this little rat tank with recoilless rifles. Yeah, I've seen that thing. That thing's stupid. I love it.
Koreans love them. Fucking Koreans love the shit out of those things because, again, you're risking minimal people, which they have had a lot of, for maximum fire. You could ripple fire that thing in no time.
Or if you're feeling frisky, just fire all of them at once.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this was an era where our arms room, we still had the M202. Which was the quad law rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Like in the Arnie movie.
Yeah.
The pepper box. Yeah, we still had those in the arms room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at that thing going, as I told you, every weapon was older than I was. I was 19 and the weapons were all older than I was. I carried a grease gun, so.
This like I'm saying, transport 10 regular Marines, or 5 Gravis armored Marines or Terminator Marines. This was one of the ones that got changed to carry. It used to be able to only carry Primaris, even though in the lore it could carry regular Marines. And then they went and changed that to match the lore, where it could carry all of them. But it used to only be able to carry Primaris because they wanted to sell Primaris tanks.
Right. You can take on 5 Primaris in a fight, right?
Yeah. It's generally supposed to, like, compared to the Land Raider, this is like a more maneuverable kind of transport.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm still a little confused how it maneuvers.
I want to say,
they fluctuate gravity fields or repulsor fields or something?
Yeah, they fluctuate the gravity fields under standard drive. When they want to go fast, that's when they activate the jet engines.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like those 2 forward grav plates can push forward if they want to back up, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the repulsor. Now, the repulsor executioner.
Bang! Whee!
Yeah. This one has the same. This one has a similar. It's a las cannon. It's an oversized las cannon. It's like the Gladiator, like the Gladiator Lancer. It's that, but it's also got the coaxial Gatling cannon.
The only thing with this, and this got proven all through World War II and the early Cold War eras, the dumbest way to exit a vehicle is through the front. So we're not even going to talk about the Land Raider, okay? Why that's a bad idea. All you had to do was watch the opening to Private Ryan to know why that's a bad idea.
In the defense of the Land Raider, though, it is meant to carry Terminators who are so it's it's a tank that stops and then deploys 10 smaller tanks.
The second dumbest way is from the sides. So,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, the rear is the best. Let the vehicles suck up some of the hate.
Yeah, like
But yeah, you're right. If it's deploying Terminators, really, you know, you're
but
not
especially that forward armor is if anything is going to take taking a hit, it's that.
Yeah, so
because that's the thickest armor. So this one, it reduces the transport capacity of standard armored Marines from 10 to 5, but it gains the ability to be like a heavy tank. Because you got the Gatling cannon, you've got the laser destructor, and you've got this one only has the heavy bolter option in the front. It doesn't get the las cannons.
Okay.
And it's got you can see it in the back. It's got a double barrel autocannon array in the rear. You know, providing like rear covering fire.
Right.
And then it's also got the frag launchers and the smoke launchers. This one doesn't get the Gatling pintle mount, but you know it's got the Modus, so you know what, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, hard to go wrong. So
you've also got a big ass Gatling cannon already, so that'd kind of be overkill. Philosopher's asking, from 1 to 10, how are the Imperial vehicles so far in terms of reliability, do you think? Like from a realistic perspective?
The one thing you want to do, especially if you're going to be deploying multiple weapons platforms together, is some sense of cross compatibility. Now, I will give the Space Marines credit that despite the difference in appearance, most of their platforms there's a lot of, I would guess, parts cross compatibility.
There's a lot, there's a lot of slapping different guns on the same hull.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start channeling my inner, you know, rowboat girly man, and say the spreadsheet has to be less complicated. You have less parts drops, you have less storage. There's none of this. Well, we've only got model 275A, and you need 275B.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to be like the you don't want to be like the first and only on
when they did that when they
Guns
roped in. Yeah.
They're going to be heading into battle, and the fucking someone accidentally checked the wrong box and got them las rifle ammunition that's incompatible with their las rifles.
A lot of those books are very accurate, but when they're basically threatening to beat the shit out of the supply guy, I felt that.
That's when it's at its most accurate.
That hit me in the heart. I'm like, that's so me, man. That's so me.
Yeah. But this is the heavy battle tank variant of the. I like to compare this to the Merkava just because it has that small capability to carry dudes.
Yeah. If in a pinch, if you had to.
Yeah. Generally speaking, people don't use this as a transport, even though it can carry 5 guys. Mostly because there's not much. The most I've seen people use this for is like, say, getting Hell Blasters up table.
Yeah. Which that's anything to help move that shit up.
Yeah, but this is mainly used as a heavy battle tank. And speaking of heavy tanks, here's the biggest. This is currently the super heavy tank for the Adeptus Astartes. This is the,
oh my god.
This is the Astraeus super heavy tank.
I'm just
so
to wrap up, Philosopher, again, you want to keep it simple, stupid. It sounds like there's a lot of weapons platform cross compatibility, a lot of parts cross compatibility. Maintenance looks pretty simple. I obviously don't know shit all about anti-grav, but but yeah, it makes the guard is all over the place. The guard is a maintenance and supply nightmare. That's the kind of shit that makes a first sergeant sit and cry.
Yeah, it's very obvious between the two that, it's very obvious that the Guard are working with tons of different STCs, where the Space Marines are working with only a few, but it's keeping things simple and cross-compatible. And then there's Call shit. Call just built new shit because fuck you.
This thing, though, I'm just... Why?
Okay.
I mean...
okay, so this is a super heavy tank. This is like in the same category as, like, say, Baneblades.
Okay.
So the forward gun, you see the heavy bolters up front.
Right. Firing between the tits.
Yeah. The side, the
Baneblade!
the sponson mounts can be either I want to say those are las cannons. Yeah, they're las cannons or plasma cannons.
Now they look like they almost have a 360 rotation.
They can't go full all the way back, but they can turn up.
Okay, so they're potential air defense weapons as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now the main parts are in the rear. So you see those they look like domes.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was some sort of weapon or shield defense.
Those are void shield generators.
Holy shit, it's that big, huh?
So this thing has void shields. And then the main gun, they're called autocannons, but they're actually a type of autocannon that used to exist back in the Horus Heresy. They're a bigger version of the main. It's a bigger version of the main turret from the Heresy era Sikaran battle tank, and I think they're coil guns rather than brass case cannons.
Right. So they're getting close to your railgun fetish.
Yeah. So these are so these are. I want to say these are like the autocannons on that main turret are coil guns. So they're hitting like not only fast but really hard. Because
is that just part of the lift system on either side? Because that's a lot of wasted space there.
Oh, you mean the parts sticking out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of the graph plate.
So the only
array.
useful areas that I'm seeing are the front. You got that little dick ass periscope with those forward firing bolters. You got the side sponsons. You've got the center run back to the turret and the turret area. Everything else seems to be just about keeping and that kind of goes back to Philosopher's question. That is a massive mechanical nightmare waiting to happen. That shit that can go out.
I want to say the center part is like the center, because you can see the window on the front, right?
Right. I assume the driver's periscope. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say the center part of the tank is that's where the crew is. The areas on the side contain the power supply for all the guns, because all the guns except for the turret gun is obviously shooting projectiles, but it's also I've theorized it's a kind of a coil gun, so it's going to need power, and that's powering the las cannons, the turret guns, and the void shields, because a thing with this tank is that it can take an absolute pounding because of the void shields. And those are rechargeable too, so if they collapse, it can pull back, let them cool down, and then redeploy them. It's like an ablative armor is how similar to how it functions, but it's energy rather than physical. So it can regenerate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about your propulsion, your lift. Your motivation system is just kind of hanging out there in the open, going, "Hey, I dare you to shoot me."
Yeah, that is a problem with it. I feel like, especially the rear part, I feel like they could have sloped that front bit a little more, because that's a flat plate right there.
Oh yeah.
Like, it matters a little. Actually, now that I think about it, depending on what they make the armor out of, now it might be say reflective. Sloping it could actually help against a las cannon shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because remember that, because I know that's a thing in BattleTech, reflective armor, which is resistant to lasers.
Freaking lasers.
Yeah, because I mean, lasers are so common as a you know a tank and mech mounted weapons in that setting. But yeah, that's their super heavy tank. That's the current Space Marine super heavy tank, the Astraeus. And yeah, that's another one of Call's creations.
Call, well, he had a lot of time to work on this shit, so.
Yeah, like casually pulling STC patterns the AdMech said were lost out of storage because fuck you, that's why.
Because I said so.
Yeah, because those cannons on the turret there, the graph plating, the fucking like another one is the because this is coming to Space Marine in the next update, the Volkite pistol. That's supposed to be a lost technology. Call was like, nah, man, I'm pulling that out of storage. We're making some new ones.
Where did you get the pattern for this? Hold on. Hang on. I got it. I got my hands on it. Wait a minute.
Right. So, for the last bit of the stream, we're switching factions now.
Oh no.
Sisters of We're now going to Sisters of
Oh
Battle.
yeah. Okay. When the church starts rolling up on your ass.
See that? You literally did the oh no, oh yeah thing there.
Oh no! Oh yeah!
So yeah, so we're swinging it back a little bit just because all the bling therein. The Sisters of Battle Rhino.
And for our esteemed audience, I have a weak spot for Sisters of Battle. I find them probably one of the coolest factions in the entire.
No,
thing.
me too. Listen, when they got their 3rd edition codex, it was the Witch Hunters codex, but when they got that, I scooped that shit up and started an army immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, being, like born and raised a Catholic boy, space nuns with guns.
Same.
What's not to like?
Same.
So.
But yeah.
It's just, I love the fact that it's like, okay, because people are like, oh, well, how much of a part does religion play in this game? They literally kick the shit out of stuff with faith, okay? They step out of spacecraft in the warp based with pure faith.
Yeah.
That's got to count for something, kids.
Yeah, it's like the Space Marines got their genetic augments, the Sisters got their faith, and it's just as effective on the battlefield.
Even more so. I mean,
yeah.
Space Marines don't generally come back from the dead. Over and over and over.
Yeah, Celestine just like the forces of chaos to Celestine just like, why won't you die? But yeah, so like this is just the Rhino. We saw the Rhino earlier, but this is the blinged up Sisters Rhino.
It's the Paris Hilton Rhino.
I want to point out, by the way, I like the placement of the Hunter Killer missile on this.
Oh yeah, look.
It's very, despite all the obviously religious stylings on it, it seems very much styled after like a tow launcher on a modern.
It is, or like a Sager or a Spandrel on a BMP-2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
And Gazgul, a box full of Sisters of Battle. I think if an orc got in there with them, you wouldn't have a good time.
Yeah, no, I'd feel sorry for the orc.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't really need to say much about this. We saw it earlier. This is just, this is their, just their version of it. Like it's got the symbols of the Ecclesiarchy, the fleur-de-lis of the sisters. It's got this is the Ebon, I want to say this is Ebon Chalice. Like I want to say that's their icon.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is an Ebon Chalice Rhino. But next up is their IFV. The Immolator.
This is the one it just cracks me. Even in like a battle sector.
Yeah.
When the church gets pissed off enough to come to you.
Yeah. You best go to church before church comes to you. So yeah, this is this has the so yeah, this is a Immolator. It trades again troop capacity for firepower. It's got the front. It's got the little church steeple, not steeple.
The stained glass.
Is a little church steeple shaped forward mount for a heavy bolter, for a little casemate heavy bolter, and then The top turret is either a pair of heavy flamers or a pair of multi-meltas.
Because sisters do like they heat.
Yeah, they like fire more than the salamanders.
And, besides the fact of painting a giant target on the side, the aesthetic is really cool. Again, not the most practical looking vehicle, though I have to give full points for whatever psycho put a fucking ram on the front of it.
Yeah, this
They
is
put an actual, like something off of a Greek ship. They put a fucking ram on it.
yeah. It's like say as a tank it loses like 5 out of 10 points for practicality, but gains 12 points for just how fucking cool it looks.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, we're going to put a stained glass window on a tank. Why? Because the Emperor said it looks cool. Shut up.
That apparently from the other side, that's like the targeting array.
Okay, that actually is even cooler. So it's not just that they put practical equipment into an aesthetic, which is really cool.
Yeah. And it's got the little shrine in the back for when you got to do your Sunday prayers while on the battlefield. And it's got cherubim, literally chained to the thing with a fucking, with
his battle trumpet there.
His little horn to toot,
Toot his flute.
Yep, and yeah,
Toot.
this is more of an IFV because it carries 5 troops rather than 10. That's the Immolator, walking war crime on treads. And now the one I know is everyone's favorite.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
sister play fuck the enemy.
Yeah, this is the Exorcist. This is the Exorcist. This is the Sisters of Battle MLRS tank. Missile launcher tank. Except they were like, hey, how do we make a missile launcher even more badass? Turn that motherfucker into a pipe organ.
Yeah,
this is
the literal version. Let me play you the song of my people.
Yeah. So obviously this is not a turreted weapon. It's a vertical launch system. So when it launches its missiles, it's more akin to the vertical launch system on a missile destroyer.
Yeah.
Fires up, turns, flies at the enemy.
Yeah.
You'll notice the girl up front kind of has a wacky looking helmet.
Oh yeah.
It's got that really tall, like stained glass window looking faceplate. That is actually to allow her to see high enough to target things for the targeting system distantly, at a distance. That's what that does.
Nice.
You've got a servitor in the back. Like, it does not just look like a pipe organ. It is actually a pipe organ. It plays music.
Yeah, they play it as it fires.
Yeah, the actual system is playing pipe organ music from that little servitor dude in the back. He's slamming the keys, and as he's slamming the keys, that's triggering the missiles to fire.
The other thing I like is the statues of the saints.
Yeah,
It's like when you can pray and kill at the same time.
Yeah, no, the sisters. They are shot traps, but they do not care because they are venerating. How dare you imply venerating is a tactical disadvantage?
Oh man, yeah, the whole thing is just. Their aesthetic, and I assume that's like a cow catcher grill. Though I can picture them strapping heretics to that.
Yeah, and just above that, it's all the sisters, combat tanks, all the ones that like their battle tanks and IVs have that forward-mounted heavy bolter. That's on all of them.
Oh yeah. That's the oh shit weapon.
Yeah. And let's see. So okay, this is a new one. This is the Castigator.
Okay, I like this. I'm sorry, I like this probably because of the paint job more than anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Black and gold will get my attention every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
time.
This is a brand new vehicle. This came out in 9th edition.
So that's their MBT. That's the Sisters MBT.
Yeah, this is their main battle tank. This is like their version of the Predator, and it doesn't get options for the side sponsons. It's heavy bolter only, but it's got two different two different cannon options. One is like the main battle tank, like main cannon. The other is a double barrel, like a double barrel heavy autocannon that it can also have. And I want to say it can fire like in lore, the main battle tank cannon can fire I want to say armor piercing or as you can guess, incendiary rounds.
Of course.
Yep. So yeah, it's basically a Predator, but if the Predator was also a church.
Yeah, again, we've got the side mounted Saints. Now my only problem with that is they're recessed farther in than the track would allow, but you know what? The Emperor provides space.
Actually,
so.
It might be a little hard to see because it's black on black, but it actually sticks out a little bit.
Okay, all right then again, the Emperor provides space.
Yep. Also, the completely unnecessary filigrees on the things holding their boxes of equipment.
So, how did if you're going to fight, clash?
Yeah. Also, look at the front. You see where you'd like that would look like where the things you attach chains to are a little.
I was going to say they're toe hook pencil points.
they've got little icons of the ecclesiarchy on them.
They got little screws on them.
But yeah,
man.
But yeah, that's the Predator. Now this is one you can't get this one anymore, unfortunately. This is the Repressor.
Okay, so they're engineer vehicle basically.
Okay, so it's a funny story on this one. This is normally a Adeptus Arbites vehicle.
Okay.
Like this is the main transport of the Adeptus Arbites. It's like it's a very up armored kind of variant of the Rhino, and its main purpose is troop transport in an urban environment. It's like a combat transport in an urban environment.
All right, so that makes sense because again, you can lift and clear mines with that particular type of blade.
Plow through.
So yeah, it's very effective for that. You can go wreckage, people, whatever,
cars, and it's got
heretics,
It's got very like riot focused weaponry. It's got the sort of turret mounted storm bolter, and then it's got a heavy flamer on top. And the whole story behind this thing was the Sisters of Battle were involved in a siege in a hive world, right? And in order to reach an objective, they requisitioned the use of repressors from the Arbites. And after the battle was won, the sisters who utilized it, I forget which order it was,
said, "Mom."
Yeah, no, they petitioned the ecclesiarchy that they wanted to add the repressor to the list of vehicles, and so the ecclesiarchy got on the phone with Yadmec. They bitched back and forth about procurement for a while, and then the Sisters of Battle then got the repressor.
Fair, that's fair.
They had it until like 9th edition when it was put into Legends, because it was one of the many Forge World kits that was no longer in production.
So one of the only memes my wife might recognize from 40K is the one where it says the Sisters of Battle prepare, and they're putting their makeup on, doing their hair.
Yeah,
and literally, she's like, "Well, duh. If you're gonna look hot, you can, hair, makeup. You got because you got to show she won't go to get the mail without doing her hair and makeup.
Yeah,
like super girly girl. So that's like probably the only one she would recognize, and it would be a sister's meme.
All right, and we're on to the last tank now.
Okay.
This is This is one. It is canon, but it has never had actual rules. But somebody built one. Kit Bash.
So you're right. It is. It's a killdozer.
This is the This is the incarcerator.
I'm confused on this one.
Okay, so what this thing does? That is a giant psychically shielded prison cell. And if like an arch heretic psychic is captured, this is what they put them in to take them to trial.
Okay, so it's a rolling jail cell.
Yeah. Now, but here's the thing though. You'll notice the fuel tanks and what looks like a jet turbine on top.
I figured it was to vaporize them if they got out of hand.
Okay, if the prisoner might escape, they slap a button on this thing. It just turns on a jet engine beneath the heretic and just like dusts them.
See, this is why I love the sisters, because it's like, well, sister, we could do this, or we could just turn a fucking jet engine on. I like that too. That works.
Yeah, the old homebrew rules for this thing was that there was like, scourging and torture shit bolted into the psyker, and you could actually weaponize their psychic powers as a against the enemy.
So it's basically they turned them into a psychic penitent engine almost.
Yeah, and then if the psyker would start going out of control, if you botched the psychic test for the weapon, it wouldn't destroy the tank, but it would destroy the weapon because they had to hit the emergency "oh fuck" button and burn the psyker.
Gazgale, thank you for saying it. I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, what is this? The sisters clear shit house or something? So,
but yeah, that is
that way we know they're not doing any heresy when they're taking a dump or something.
but yeah, and that's really it. That's the
okay.
That is the
that's good. That's good timing. We're pretty close to 3 hours. So
yeah. That is the those are the tanks of the Space Marines and the Sisters of Battle. I don't really think there's enough individual vehicles to do another episode like battle tanks, because we'd be going into like all the Xenos and Chaos when it comes to battle tanks. Just mostly has the same shit the Imperium does, but with spikes.
Yeah, I was gonna say they just put spikes and weird shit on it. So
yeah, and then we'd be talking about demon engines, and I feel like that's more suited to a demon related discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I kind of think from your perspective, there's a little less relatability with Xenos vehicles.
Well, because they're operating on a whole different technology level too.
Yeah,
they operate in a completely different world.
Yeah, like the closest thing maybe could be the Leagues of Otan, but not even really that, But yeah, that's it for tanks. I'm gonna close this now. So yeah, you know what? Hold on, everyone. I'm gonna see who might be streaming that I can launch a raid at really quick here. I think Riona actually tends to, wrap up at 10. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say she always seems to wrap up right near when you do usually.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm gonna send y'all to watch Aurelia Temperis. I want to say she's got like a 40k theme going on too. I've rated her before. Let me set this up.
Thanks everybody for showing up, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for coming
around.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone.
Listening to us nerd out about this. So.
I'm going to be back tomorrow playing EVE Online. So, yeah, series business internet spaceship game.
I was going to say, speaking of spreadsheets.
Yeah, I will catch you all later. Take care, everyone, and have a good evening. And see that, thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yep. Later, everyone.